squad, I got one chance. No sleep till I'm enhanced. Fight hard to keep my stance. Knuckle up, time to buckle up. I got one shot and I won't stop. One goal for the joyride. I'm a champion. Move aside.
Oh, okay.
Are you kidding me?
Taking over the game.
What am I watching? They might just be doing it.
He's a god. He's a god.
Yeah.
Oh!
Full force, I'm unleashed, so don't speak. Grandmaster, don't sleep. Victory, it tastes so sweet. Knuckle up, time to buckle up. I got one shot and I won't stop. One goal for the joyride. I'm a champion. Move aside. Let's go.
Welcome everybody to the Overwatch League. Doa and ZP here with you for another night of games. Well, we get to do the first series anyway, then Avril and Achilleos take over. But hey, we've got LA Valiant versus Seoul Dynasty. It's a big one, ZP, because Seoul Dynasty with a chance, if they 3-0, they can actually jump up to second in the standings, but at least they're on the hunt for that one of those last knockout stage positions.
Yeah, I don't think that's great news for the Valiant, where the Valiant, they're looking to bounce back after what was, in so many words, a very tough series yesterday. Coordination a little bit lacking. Go, yeah, we're going to bounce back. Seoul's a tough team, but maybe we could do something. And they find out, oh, by the way, Seoul has a reason to be bloodlusted. So, yeah, it's going to be a really tough job for the Valiant here, I'd say.
Yeah, with Seoul playing as well as they did in their series yesterday against NYXL, I would be surprised if it went Valiant's way, but hey, it's the APAC region, it's the East region. We have no idea what's going to happen. It's been a little bit crazy this year. But so on that note, go do your pick'ems. I know it's tough. I know it's tough for APAC. We feel it too, but you still want to have a chance to earn that $500 and perhaps a nice big May statue that's wonderfully sculpted, wonderfully painted. It'll look great on your desk or yacht or wherever you want to put it. So yeah, go do your pick'ems. Best of luck. Best of luck to us too. I think we've cast or cursed ourselves a few times trying to make some of these picks here, but let's take a look at the standings overall so you can see where things are at right now. Obviously, Philadelphia Fusion and the Chengdu Hunters are locked to get into the knockout rounds. Seoul Dynasty on the hunt. They're currently in there. They can secure their spot by doing well today, obviously. Shanghai Dragons, Charge, Excelsior, ZP, all a little bit in the hunt as well, though for teams like New York, it's kind of on the outside looking in, isn't it?
Yeah, for New York, I mean, I think the math, so I heard going into, is that they have to 3-0 today. So they don't just have to beat the Dragons. They have to dominate the Dragons just to stay in it where, I mean, look, it's APAC, crazier things have happened, and the Dragons have looked mortal this season. So, hey, look, it could happen, but it's a rough road to go. Even if you think you are significantly above another team, getting a 3-0 is difficult right now. Usually teams can get one map.
Yeah, seriously. That New York Dragons match later is going to be really fun to watch. I'm actually looking forward to that one as well, even though we're not casting it. But, Spark gave Dragons a run for their money yesterday. So I wonder how that one's going to go with New York, because I thought they played pretty well versus Seoul. But let's take a look at Seoul's roster going into our first map here. Seoul Dynasty, of course, is a team that did quite well last year. They were our runners-up this year. A little bit of a slow start, but last night, ZP, this squad played great, didn't it?
Yeah, it was good Seoul that showed up. It was playoff Seoul. Profit looked better than ever, where, last season people saw Profit and Echo and would kind of groan going, what are we going to get here? Because oftentimes it wasn't good. Instead, Profit looked dominant. And, I think the question is for Seoul in any regular season game, and I think it's still fair to say this up until, they've played well throughout most of the season, is that you still know what Seoul you're going to get on any given day. Historically, they're a team that's kind of a roller coaster to fall in the regular season. Lots of highs, lots of lows. But right now, they're on a high.
Yeah, they certainly are. A little bit of a change from yesterday. They started out Marvel on the control map yesterday. Today we've got Nepal. Gesture is coming in instead. Marvel played well, but again, you want to kind of match the tank with the map. And Nepal's going to have a lot more opportunities for the monkey to be jumping around, right? So Gesture makes sense for the pick there. I'm excited to watch Creative tonight. He played extremely well. Dare I say he out-Jonacked Jonak against NYXL last night. So I've got high hopes for this kid to keep up performances like that. And then, of course, Profit, it kind of just became the Profit show at certain points in the match yesterday. So we'll see to see if they can continue the momentum. They're certainly coming into this one hot, aren't they?
Yeah, they really are. And, I mean, towards the other end where you look at the Valiant, man, what more can you say other than this is a team where every now and then everything seemingly works together. You can see the individual talent that's there, but putting it together for even just a full map, let alone a full series, has been elusive for the Valiant. So, You know, we'll see if they can put it together here today up against Dynasty. But we don't have to wait any longer. We're getting to our first map.
That's right. I mean, to touch on the Valiant again, I mean, you look at that roster, too. You have players like Shou Chang, you have players like Molanran, Crystal. All of them have put on some good individual performances, but I just think back, ZP, to that Hanamura map yesterday and just how out of sync the whole team looked. And there's only so much you can change in 24 hours, so we'll see what they've been able to do with a little bit of practice time. I mean, honestly, hopefully you just take a little bit of a rest after that series yesterday and kind of regroup, do better against Seoul, but not an easy opponent for them.
No, not at all. But when we look at Valiant, I do like what the Valiant are coming out with here, where you think when Valiant has looked good, this is basically it, right? You put Crystal on the Ashe, you put Molanran on the Tracer, and you know, this is kind of where, okay, Valiant looks competitive in the setup. Meanwhile, for Seoul, I mean, they've been pretty versatile across the board, so whatever they run out with, I have faith they can play well. But what key difference from yesterday on Control, though? Gesture in rather than Marvel.
Yeah, that's right. Talked about that a little bit earlier. He has been playing the ball lately, playing that Hammond. Of course, we know how good his Winston is, but as they roll out on a Shrine here, we'll see what they can do. Valiant does get to the point a little bit earlier, but Seoul does have this little high ground, the side push they can come in from a little bit wider angle. Crystal, those look pretty good in the Ashe. So as he can find a couple shots early, they might be able to keep Seoul at bay. Oh, well, never mind. Creative. Getting bloodthirsty already. Only a few seconds in. There's first pick, CB.
Yeah, Crib did that just for you, duh. No one else. That was specifically for you. Crib realized you were casting the match, and
I appreciate it.
It's keeping up the fandom is what we saw there. And I mean,
he knows what I like.
Here's the other thing too. One pick and already the Valiant, they just leave. It's a quick retreat and a pretty easy take for the Dynasty.
You know, I like that. I actually like that the Valiant backed up, regrouped. They were having trouble with that yesterday. They were having trouble staying close as a team. Ooh, Gesture getting a little bit low there. How's the push going to come together? Silver getting aggressive here. Ooh, going after Creative. The threat has been identified. Oh, and slams him down. Both ends down, though.
Yeah, both ends down the fight, though. Profit in the back line. That's scary. Silver 3, though, working here at the same point. Animo out of the fight. Not a bad start here for the Valiant. Silver 3 going to be rolling back over. Here's the problem, though, Doa. All the while, the Dynasty are still full control. Profit got to the back again, and Profit just didn't stop him.
I mean, yeah, Fitz and Profit. You know, Fitz gets overlooked a little bit of the time, but he's a great hit scan player as well. Gesture's still alive, which is not something you see from Gesture too often, the being alive part at this point in the fight. But like you said, it's all about the Seoul DPS right now, trying to hold, and Profit's got that pulse bomb. Valiant knows it. How aggressive do they want to be here? Playing around the tertiary edges of the fight here. Oh boy. Oh
Profit's
boy.
going in.
Oh, he didn't get it.
Yeah, he not only denied by the Zen, didn't get the stick at the very end. Molanran goes in for it, also misses. So again, another opportunity for the Valiant here. 2 down for Seoul. We'll see how long Seoul can hold on. They are getting very close to both Rally and Transcendence, but Audible Cribs out of the fight, so it's going to be Valiant getting the first take in the round.
Yeah, nice little staggered kills at the end there against Seoul Dynasty as well, and that's going to give Valiant the time they need to get a little bit extra percent going where Seoul may have been able to create a counter push a little bit quicker. But like you mentioned, ZP, the ults are the problem. Look at Seoul Dynasty right now. Nearly 5 out of 6 ults available. So one solid push, one solid teamfight win, and they could just take the round just like that.
Yeah, especially at 71%. It's going to be imperative that the Valiant somehow take this next fight. At least it's even on the support ult side of things. But Silver 3 under pressure. Discord Orb on Seoul hunting. But Silver 3 decides, no, I want to take this fight. Dives right in. Transcendence backing it up. Fits down very early in the fight. And Seoul, they fight Transcendence for Transcendence. They take down Muya. And suddenly, now a little bit more even. Graviton in. And Seoul, the fall through is going to be there.
I mean, it was a nice engage from Valiant, but a great response by Fitz on Seoul Dynasty just to send Bob to the point to start to take it, and that caused Valiant to get a little bit confused. You saw the attack that looked so good early on kind of break up a little bit, and Seoul Dynasty able to use the confusion to retake the point, win that fight, and now 90% almost for Seoul Dynasty. It's going to be tough for Valiant to push back in. They're going to need a hero play from Molanran here.
Yeah, he's waiting for it. Yeah, able to take down Creative early on. Now Pulse Bomb. Molanran going in. Oh, taken down.
Rip.
Absolutely rejected by the Zarya. It's 2 in for Seoul. Overtime not in progress. And Seoul just has to do a little bit of cleanup. Round 1 will be theirs.
Yeah, 2 for 2U on the Zarya, and as they push out the point, Valiant can't even get there, and that's Seoul Dynasty taking the first point in the series. 52% for Valiant. They had a little bit of a good push. I felt like already they looked a little bit more cohesive than we saw yesterday, but they're going to need to bring a lot more against this Seoul Dynasty team that's looking, like you mentioned earlier, playoff caliber right now.
Yeah, and really one of the things you sort of watch anytime Dynasty is playing, you kind of do your Prophet temperature check, which is what Prophet do we have today? And Prophet still looked very, very solid throughout that. The classic,
He's red hot.
The fight is, yeah, the fight is not over, Doa, until Prophet says the fight is over. And as it turns out, Prophet wasn't giving in a whole lot.
Yeah. Well, here we go. It's going to be Village, the next point here on Nepal, under attack by both of these teams. Silver 3 on the Reinhardt, and they're going to go ahead and use the teleporter to get there a little bit quicker. It's fine. Gesture on the Winston. This is why they brought him in over Marvel, but it's going to be the good old Winston versus Ryan battle in the main tanks. We'll see who comes out on top.
Yeah, and I mean,
Milan
between the
Ron
two
with the
teams.
Chengdu spray there.
Yeah, gotta love it. But between the two teams, this is where, of course, you're going to see Valiant just try and play around the point, try and leverage the team being tankier, whereas for Seoul, it's all about, hey, let's let Prophet find someone on the far, and already Prophet finding some meaty rockets, gets high B. That's a great start.
I mean, that's enormous, right? I mean, you get the kill on high B. He's got the immortality field all the way, and that means that it's a very mortal Valiant that Prophet's going to try to deal with. He gets aggressive there, maybe a little bit too aggressive on the point, but it does help Seoul Dynasty take it. So let's break that down a little bit. I mean, when you bring in Farah on a point like this, you want to be the defender, right? It can be a little bit difficult to take the point. If you're going to do it, you need a pick like Prophet was able to find. And now that the point is theirs, they can just rain rockets down. They can play a lot of zone control with this Farah, with this Sombra in the backlines harassing. And it's a good start for Dynasty.
Yeah, and even better, Doa, their ult economy should be unreal. Not only is getting through the Prophet obstacle course just a terror in and of itself, but Fitz is going to have EMP very soon for the next fight, which could just ruin you if you do get past that obstacle course.
Right. They're giving a lot of space to Valiant here. As we saw Valiant pushing in to take a little bit of percentage. Try to retake it here. They're getting there. Soul needs to get back on the point a little bit. Crystal on the McCree. Oh, but there comes a barrage.
Yeah, Prophet landed the barrage in the back, ends up falling, but that is more than enough for the Dynasty to keep control. And even better, Fitz, I mean, he didn't have the EMP built, but he is going to have it built for the next fight. So this is so tough for the Valiant, where, by the way, this is the last round they have to try and bring it back.
Yep, and now you swap. With Prophet, you're going to swap over the Tracer here, and you're going to just do what you do best on that Tracer. Just get in the back lines, harass people, try to find a pick or something on a tank. We'll see what they can do. Mulanron coming in. Right, EMP used. Didn't hit anyone.
I think it got Silver 3. I think that's what part of why Silver 3 just got
yeah. I think you might be right. Yep.
But that's still a good use of an EMP, right? You get rid of the main tank immediately, you make a quick 6-on-5, and then you have faith that you can just skirmish out the rest of the fight. 81% to 18 right now, and I mean, Valiant, they're on their final attempt. It won't be a good one, Duh.
No, it won't. I mean, you've got the self-destruct, you've got the rally, but those are not two ultimates that really synergize super well together. Oh no, and creative again. You just cannot get near the Zenyatta. He is so aggressive and he is so accurate. It's a beautiful thing to watch. Jesh in the back line lies down the minefield, and that's lying down a recipe for success perhaps for Seoul Dynasty.
Yeah, we have the Transcendence in. Ooh! Pulse Bomb going to be eaten up by Shochang, but they still need more. Dynasty just swarming around the point. Transcendence in. They don't care at all about the remaining members on the point, and this is a full team effort from the Dynasty, and map 1, it's going to be theirs.
Yep, that is correct. Seoul Dynasty with the cleanup here. That's a team kill and a clean 2-0 for Seoul Dynasty. Valiant barely getting any points, or any percent rather, going in either of those rounds. And you see a little bit of despondency, some laughs, though, over on the side of Seoul. And I got to say, I mean, in the game right now, you and I can see that Creative got the play of the game there, but what a boss. Like, we talked about how great he looked on the Zenyatta and just every flex support he touched yesterday, but again today already, just clicking heads. Transcendences is the perfect time. Like, Creative is quickly becoming my new favorite flex support. What do you think, ZP?
Yeah, Creative is playing out of his mind right now, and look, it's a bad omen for the Valiant that a team that's been relying on out-of-control Tracer play, where if your Tracer is losing matchups versus M because Creative is just on point, it's going to be a long night, or I guess more accurately, it's going to be a short night.
Yeah, short night so far. At least the Seoul Dynasty have the 1-0 lead. Quick break, and when we come back, we'll see if the LA Valiant can tie it up. Don't go anywhere. This is Overwatch League.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by T-Mobile, America's largest and fastest 5G network. Set your sights on the competition with T-Mobile. And by State Farm. For auto, home or renters insurance, like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. The Overwatch League is brought to you by Coca-Cola, the official refreshment of the Overwatch League, and by IBM, the official cloud and AI partner of the Overwatch League.
What is happening? Unbelievable. Alarm, the first one dead. Carpe dead as Gesture just cleaves them all down with his fists.
Where's EMP? There it is. Hits a good 4 or 5 people. Also, Monk stunned as well as Silver drops the Shatter, and that's going to be Valiant winning a pretty decisive team fight.
No, Prophet finds Mondu, takes out the pulse bomb. Prophet just keeping firmly from the Tracer. The Dynasty defending territory here. Shochang, he builds up his energy.
Oh my god.
Deadeye used by Carpe to try to zone them back, but Shochang doesn't give a damn. He plows on. They get the kill, and suddenly this time bank has been saved.
Welcome back to Overwatch League. Doa and ZP here with you late night, or, you know, maybe midday. Kind of depends on where on the globe you are. Either way, in North America, it's late at night or early in the AM, and we have just seen Seoul Dynasty take a fairly smooth map over the LA Valiant. I will give the Valiant this, ZP. They did look a little bit more together, a little bit more cohesive than we saw yesterday, but at the end of the day, I mean, you've just got so many stars on Seoul Dynasty, so many great individual players that it's tough. Even if you do have that togetherness, you're not making the hero plays like Creative, like Prophet, like Gesture, and even Fitz a little bit in that last map where.
Yeah, I mean, the Seoul roster this year is absolutely stacked, and they're also playing well in the regular season, which isn't always the case so far. Looking really good. But also on top of that, let's not forget yesterday, Control was the best Valiant look. That was the map type where Valiant nearly took the first map. They kind of let it get away from them. It was when we got to the next game modes that things really started falling apart from the Valiant. So what I'm curious here is, as we head into an assault map, is there going to be improvement for the Valiant? Because it literally cannot get worse than the Hanamura we saw yesterday. It cannot. So for the Valiant, at the very least, they could go up at least. They could go up.
I agree. I think that Hanamura attack yesterday from Valiant was one of the toughest things to watch. One of the toughest things I've had to watch and cast yet in Overwatch League in my years of doing it. I know I took a year off, but still, you know, we're here for 3 out of the 4 years, and that was right up there. That was right up there. Yeah, do I dare say it was shades of Season 1 Shanghai Dragons level there, which I'm sorry. I got to say it. It's just where things are at right now. If you're a Valiant fan, like we said, I think there's some individual stuff to be excited about, but they just got to get it together on a team, and we'll see if they can do a little better on 2CP here on Temple of Anubis.
Yeah, I think the closest thing you got to that level of play that we saw from the Valiant on Hanamura last season, well, it would be a matchup known sort of to the community as the El Clasico, the Houston v Boston 7-map series that had no, like, you go, saw a 7-map series, it's awesome. It's like, well, it was the stuff of legend, but call it awesome, I'm not so sure.
It was a memorable time, that's for sure.
Yeah.
But checking out Temple of Anubis here, we've got Seoul Dynasty on the defense. We have LA Valiant on the attack, and you know, all assault maps, all 2 control point maps are a little bit tough on the attack side. Temple of Anubis is one of those ones where you've got the choke, but at least you've got a couple avenues you can sort of sneak through. You can create some good pushes. You can even be very aggressive and go for a dive. And with the double bubble look that Valiant's showing us coming out of spawn, that might be the plan. We'll see as they roll out.
And for Valiant, you know, they're going to be running Milanron on the Echo once more, where it looked much improved yesterday on control, but Assault Doa, it is a different beast.
Sure is. We are on the Ana. Just trying to build up that Nano boost for a stronger dive later. So a lot of this early on, you're going to see like Silver 3 go in, do a little bit of damage, take a little bit of damage, help Ouya build up that Nano boost, and as long as the Ana can stay alive for Valiant, they should be able to get a push going fairly shortly. That is an aggressive dive for Silver 3. Gets hit by the sleep dart. Gets taken out. Oh, Silver 3.
And this is what was really harmful to the Valiant yesterday, is that Silver 3 would go in and one way or another would not be super well supported. It'd be Silver 3 on his own, and he'd just get clapped. Speaking of clapped, Prophet with the focusing beam takes that Milanron in the back. And once more, a minute off the clock. The Valiant's looking a little bit lost right now, Doa.
Yep. You know, we're seeing a little bit of what we saw yesterday too, right? Where Silver 3 and either Crystal or Milanron would go in for a little bit of aggression, a little bit of scouting, try to pull the defense apart, try to stretch it out a little bit and pave the way for the rest of the team to walk in. And you know, it's going about as well as it has on Hanamura here. But yeah, we'll see. I mean, Ouya's got the nano boost, but Silver 3 still a ways off from that primal rage.
Silver 3's going, oh, just
sleep
really
dart.
slapped.
Creative. Sick sleep dart.
It was good for creative. Silver 3 also just made it easy. Okay, so woke him up. Silver 3 a little bit angry about getting put to sleep. It gets his revenge. Both supports down. Silver 3. Oh man, don't go to him in the morning. That's all I gotta say. But all that still said, Doa, Seoul has not given up the point yet. Prophet's still floating around.
Well, when you take someone out, someone else is ready to step up. That's kind of been what we've started to see from Seoul Dynasty. If the supports go down, the DPS step up. If the tank goes down, the supports keep the DPS alive. Like it's been just great team play in that where, you know, if there's a hole in the ship, somebody's there to plug it right away. That's it. Grab gets used by Shochang.
Yeah, just solo grab and the dragon in when you really want to take down a Zarya, I suppose. Yeah. But Seoul, they're going to res back up. They're going to be up to a full 6 here. Crystal looking for anything on the Hanzo. About to get a gesture in his face, or maybe not, but...
He didn't quite get there, did he? But it's okay, because the DPS damage did. Silver 3 down again, and Prophet in the back of this, chasing down the Echo. It's Echo v Echo, Mortal Kombat! Milanron just self-destructs, apparently there.
Yeah. Well, you can't give the other person elimination if you eliminate yourself first, Noah. That's how it works. But now we're down to we're down to a minute 10 left. Seoul's not even given up a single tick on the point, despite, you know, that moment where Silver 3 actually made a good bit of room. So this could be the final crack at it now for the Valiant.
Yeah, I think with less than a minute remaining, like you said, ZP, this is going to be about it. You got to use that nano boost. Milanron's going to have the Echo. Shochang down, though, to you. Comes in and sends him back to spawn again. What more can you say?
Yeah, that was good economical grab. And, I mean, the only upside here, Doa, the only upside for the Valiant is that was so decisive, so quick, that they get one more attempt to head in. But it is not going to be an easy fight by any stretch of the imagination.
I love how you look at the bright side, ZP. You're such a positive person. We need that. We need that in this world right now.
I have to find something here, Doa. It is so hard in this matchup right now, but I'm trying.
Valiant needs it more than anything. Yeah, Valiant looking for somebody to copy here. Prophet gonna go ahead and copy the Ana. Oh, the sleep dart! What?
Again? And by the way,
sure. It's styling
sorry,
time.
I was really wishing she was not woken up in that moment.
It's styling time. All right, yeah, why not give the nano boost a creative? Oh my gosh. Oh, the disrespect. You hate to see it, but at the same time, you love to see it. Last-ditch effort for Silver 3.
Yep, Primal on the point, and yeah, on one hand, say maybe Seoul regrets things. Okay, Graham's down. There is the part where is the door going to get open because of the showboating? The door is far more open than it should be right now, Doa. Creative, though, is going to get resurrected. Anonymous down for the res. Fitz, though, on the side. Prophet still floating around. Not at all over in the least, but again, this is far more than it should be right now. Silver 3 in the ball through the long run goes in. Seoul, what have you done?
Dude, if I am the Seoul Dynasty coaches right now, I am pretty upset because they had this map, they had this round in the bag, nothing taken on the control point at all. Fitz does take a Mullen run, but that's it. And now Valiant with a new lease on life, I would be, there's gonna be repercussions for the Seoul Dynasty players. Coach after this.
There could be repercussions, but going to look at the bright side, I think Seoul just wanted to extend the broadcast airtime and give more tokens to our very loyal viewers. That's right, chat. That was for you. That was for you from Seoul. The showboating entirely planned out.
Wow. I didn't know they were that kind. It really is something else, isn't it?
Yep.
It's a beautiful thing.
All part of the plan here. However, it does mean they have to defend at point B for 2 minutes. Gesture, getting the nano, and oh boy, Shocheng does not want to be here, and down he goes.
All right, so Shocheng getting taken out more or less by Gesture. A little bit of self-destruct, but we'll give that one to Gesture anyway. Prophet, seeing if he can get a couple exit kills here on the way out. And I don't think Seoul Dynasty is going to be showboating as much on this point.
I would hope not.
This is
that wasn't good.
Be a little bit, teeny bit embarrassing after the way that first point went. You know, it was great. If it would have worked out, if they would have won it, that would have been such a swag way to end that round. But not work out at all. There we go. All right, Zarya ultimate to you, sets it up. Prophet and Fitz knocks him down.
Yeah, being clean, precise execution off the Graviton. Now a minute 30 left to go, but you know, the trouble here for Seoul is that as much as Valiant has been struggling, Doa, you take a look at the ult side of things, your Valiant will have, in theory, a good fight coming up here. Seoul has put this match in far more risk than they should, especially when, don't forget, Doa, it has to be a 3-0. They want to keep the higher seeding.
Crystal is lurking behind the team, and he's got a pulse bomb. If he gets a good one, this could end up being one of the most embarrassing rounds for a team ever in Overwatch League. It all depends on Crystal's pulse bomb here.
Waiting.
They have no idea.
They have no idea Crystal's here.
They don't know. Oh, he misses
Doesn't get it.
He gets creative anyway. It's a good start.
Close enough. The pickoff on the creative. The door is now open for the Valiant. Silver 3. Again, the support in the corner. Crystal with another pick onto Toyu. And now, Silver 3 over and in. Vitzo, Bob out.
Yeah, Bob
now we'll see if Seoul can climb their way back in, but this is a good opening. The long run, though, super low kick, duplicate off in time, and Fitz saving the Dynasty in their moment of need.
Yeah, that's right. Prophet this time copying the Zarya, not going after the Ana. Who knew? Ouya down as well, and they do defend, and now with just about 10 seconds left, and only the Graviton Surge for Shocheng, who's going back to spawn. It looks like this round is finally going to come to an NZP. It was silly, but Seoul managed to keep Valiant from getting any of the progress here on point B.
Which is important when you get to the extra rounds. It means that if the Dynasty just capture first Doa, they have guaranteed themselves that they will not lose the map at a minimum, which is important when they're going for the 3-0. But, oh man, the feel when you play with your food and then you just go, but why? Because
like I said, if I'm a coach for Seoul, I'm like, guys, come on. You can't win playoff matches if you're doing things like that. I know it feels like a time to showboat, and it nearly worked out, and it was fun. I appreciate it, but you know that got a little bit too close for comfort there.
Yeah, it really did. And look, the other thing too is that why play around on Assault of all maps? It is the most variable game type in all of Overwatch. It is where even if things are going well, even if you overmatch your opposition, look, you can be dominating the entire game. You only need 2 good team fights, Doa, on the offense to put yourself in a position to win the map. So even if you lose 9 out of 10 fights, you just got to roll the dice and put in 2 good fights in a row, and all of a sudden the map is yours. So Yeah, it's just not the time to play around.
And you see all these Chengdu Hunters sprays from Valiant. They're kind of the avatars of Chengdu right now, because remember, if Seoul Dynasty does get the 3-0, they will knock Chengdu out of the top 2 in the standings. And so right now, Valiant trying to fight for another team in the East region apparently right now. But they're trying to channel that energy. I think they're going to need to do a little bit better job of that. But maybe Seoul will give them an opportunity. Who knows?
Well, the other thing, too, is that when you're looking at potential tiebreakers in the season, it's still really important for Valiant to try and get whatever wins they can, because at the rate they're going, though, they're going to be an edge case to get into the final playoffs if they're in it at all, and every match really is going to matter for them.
It really does, yeah. All right, so Seoul looking for picks. Fitz on the Widowmaker. Prophet, of course, on the Echo. Nice anti on Silver 3. That's going to lead to a first kill, and now Seoul. We'll see how aggressive they want to get off of this.
The very easy answer.
Yep.
Gesture does not let that situation go awry. Prophet just melts Blonderon out of the sky.
It's like I forgot who was on the team for a second. Yep.
Yeah. Do you think Gesture has any form of retreat in his body? No. The answer is no.
I don't think the S key is on his keyboard. I'm pretty sure he pries that off before he starts playing.
Yeah.
That's going to be easy point A take for Seoul, and all they need is just one tick on B to win the map.
Yep, that's a lot of time, though. It's a lot of time, a little under 6 minutes to get 33%. So, Seoul might have messed around a little bit, but I don't think they're going to pay any real price for it.
That fits over in the Sombra. Okay, so swapping things up a little bit. Again, it's all about just a little pick to win a little team fight to win the map. That's all they need, and one hack can do that. You don't even need the EMP at this point to make that happen. But look, they're going to have a nano pretty soon. Prophet actually goes ahead and swaps the monkey right away.
Winston.
Yep, that's right. Going to go for the double primal rage.
Oh, this is not good. You don't want to be back here. Prophet going, I can Winston too. Have a little bit of juggling here in the back. Still, though, the support's there. Doesn't immediately finish off. Silver 3, though, somehow gets caught as Prophet's trying to get away to you. Gets a long run down, and Seoul, I don't know if they have the health for this fight here, though. I think they might get pushed back.
Yeah, they got to back off. Somehow Gesture died during the beginning of that. We were watching Prophet, so I didn't quite see how it happened. But clearly the plan was to go for, double primal rage with a nano boost in there somewhere. They did the smart thing, though. They saw things weren't going great. Gesture dropped early. They saved the ultimates. Now they're going to go in with 4. A lot of ultimates coming online for Valiant as well. So definitely some opportunities. Ooh, that's a lot of damage on Silver 3, though, right away.
Silver 3, please. He's so close to the primal. All right.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, that was nearly the same old story again. Silver 3 getting picked up earlier. But now Gesture gets an nano boost, heads on in, and they're going to contain Gesture, but at what cost? Somehow Ouya still gets hit in all of it. 2 early pickoffs here for the Dynasty, and they almost have the 33% though, just about there. As you see some juggling on the side, the Dynasty take Anubis with ease.
Yes, they do. Seoul Dynasty with a quick 2-0 in the series. Could have been quicker, ZP. We gotta admit. Yeah. I mean, that was some swag moves pulled out at the end of that first defensive round for Seoul that didn't go that well. It was a little bit of comedy relief in what would otherwise be a pretty short match. But there you go. 2-0 for Seoul Dynasty. Valiant. Anything they can do, ZP?
Yeah, I mean, continue lulling the Dynasty into a false sense of security. I don't know. I mean, it helps when you're supposed to be going up against Nano Boost at the end and the Nano's just used for no good reason. I mean, look, that was a tactical advantage for the Valiant. Still wasn't enough.
I mean, it's the only way you get to see a Nano boosted Ana in a match, in a professional match, right? You copy their Ana, you build the charge, then you nano boost your own Ana. It was a great plan. I appreciate that. I saw what they were going for. It was pretty cool. They got the win anyway. No harm, no foul, as they say. Although, again, the coaches may not agree with me on that one. But we'll see what happens. We're going to take another quick break. When we come back, we'll see if Seoul Dynasty can close it out with a clean 3-0 move up in the standings, or if Valiant will give us a little bit more of a series. Don't go anywhere, Overwatch League. We'll return right after this.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by T-Mobile, America's largest and fastest 5G network. Set your sights on the competition with T-Mobile. And by State Farm. For auto, home, or renters insurance, like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. The Overwatch League is brought to you by Cheez-It Grooves. So much flavor, it's a mind crunch. And by TeamSpeak, the official voice supplier of the Overwatch League.
Hey, we're back here at the Overwatch League. I gotta ask, ZP, we're here in Lijiang Tower. You know, after you parked, you had to like come up to the office. Like, how was it getting through the control point today? Was there a lot of action? Was it kind of dangerous? Or did you make it through okay?
Honestly, it was pretty light so far. You know, you get the first match of the day,
right.
There's not a whole lot of people waiting for what's a little bit later in the day. I think a lot of people thought Seoul would have this one, so we didn't quite attract the crowds as normal. So my commute here, Doha, totally smooth.
Oh, okay. Good to know. Well, it hasn't been so smooth for the LA Valiant, unfortunately. They are down 0-2 to the Seoul Dynasty. Seoul definitely not taking this series maybe as seriously as some other ones we've seen in the past, but it certainly has been an entertaining one. We're going to go to Blizzard World next for perhaps our final map, unless the Valiant can somehow turn this one around. But, I mean, it just looks like Seoul is just head and shoulders above the Valiant today.
Yeah, Seoul is looking very good, even with self-inflicted errors at points where, I mean, what else do you call the middle of Anubis aside from charity for the viewers for tokens, which I stand by that theory. I think that Seoul's just being a fan-favorite team right now. But, I mean, look, all memes about that aside, they're dominating. They are crushing. The Valiant right now are not close whatsoever to the Dynasty, and they got one more map to, you know, get everything in alignment. Sometimes Valiant has done, but are they going to be able to do it for a reverse sweep? It's super unlikely, Noah. Super unlikely.
Yeah. I wish that would have worked out for them at the end of that round, though, on Anubis, like the Ana play, because it was so perfect, because Prophet he copied the Ana. He hit like an amazing sleep dart, actually. Built the Nano in like Nano boost in like 2 seconds, and then Nano there. If that would have worked, that would have gone down as one of the greatest like swag disrespect plays in the history of Overwatch. But instead, it's like, you know, when you're trying to spin like 5 basketballs on like sticks, and then you just drop it and look like kind of a fool. But no, it was entertaining either way.
I'm glad you mentioned basketball. To me, it's more so, you know, the famous GIF where the guy shoots the ball up and then just, you know, turns around, you know, showboats that he hit it, and then the ball, of course, just bounces unceremoniously off the rim. Yeah, that's kind of what we got from Seoul there, I'd say. But
I would agree.
We're moving on. It's Blizzard World, and it is going to be the Valiant on the defense first. They're running what has sort of become their bread and butter composition. So you look at this, you go, okay. Maybe it'll work well. Okay, that's training.
Changed.
Yeah.
The sprays have changed, ZP. It was Chengdu Hunters. Now the spray has changed from Molanran to the Seoul Dynasty. He's given up. No. He's tactically crouching on it. Oh my goodness.
You know what, though? I understand it because
night.
The way the Valiant have been playing, that's the only tactical crouching on a Seoul Dynasty affiliate thing that Molanran might get done in this series. Let's be real.
I think you're right. I think he'll enjoy it while it lasts. Yeah, he's practicing for maybe someday getting to do the real thing.
Yeah, that's the best I got for him.
Poor Molanran. All right. Well, Fitz on the aggressive stance here with the Sombra. As you can see, Seoul Dynasty on the attack here in Blizzard World. TU takes a little bit of damage here, but Fitz looking for that hack. Doesn't want to hack the world. Oh no, he only needs to hack the Sigma, maybe.
Oh, that's exactly what he was looking for. You called it, and it's on someone 3 down first. It said it's Shochang tactically assassinated by the Dynasty as Prophet. So much room to work with here. Already 2 down. Fitz might be taken out, but the door has been open now for the Dynasty. And I got to tell you, though, I think they're keeping it open as Prophet is just on the course, heading to and fro against all the players on the Valiant.
Yeah, that was close. Ouya almost got like a pretty sick kill there, actually. I'll cheer for any Zenyatta, but at the end of the day, that's going to be a pretty quick point A take for the Seoul Dynasty, and they have a nano boost to push into point B here. They're going to have the pulse bomb as well. And I feel like we're seeing Seoul tighten things up a little bit. You know, we saw Prophet at the end of that with an opportunity to chase down Silver 3, but he was about half health, maybe about 40%. He's like, you know, I'm going to go back. I'm going to wait, get the health pack. I'm going to make sure we secure this. So I think there were some words passed down from the leadership on Seoul Dynasty about how they should maybe play this one a little bit tighter. I only guess. I don't know, but I'm just going to make a wild guess here that happened.
Yeah, I mean, the coaches might have come in and said, you know, just because you did that in the last map, you're going to play this by the book. We want to see max power. Okay. Well, Ouya this time actually punishing Prophet. as the Valiant put together a good first 2 opening pickoffs. And with Gesture and Profit down, I mean, that's the heart and soul of the Seoul Dive, no pun intended. So it's gonna be.
I mean, you're totally right. They tried to go for the nano boost plan, the Gesture, and you know what? If there is one Achilles heel for Seoul Dynasty with this style of play, is that it's pretty straightforward. You kind of know what you're in for, right? You know Gesture's going to come in with the nano boost. You know Profit's going to be lurking off to the side. So if you can handle them, you can win fights like that. So a spark of hope, perhaps. Bubble on the monkey as Gesture dives in again, just trying to create some space to push that payload a little bit more.
Yeah, and the next time he's going to primal Fitz though. That fight early. Gesture, quick punish. Doesn't give time for the tactical crouching. Oh, there's a stick. Profit comes in for the back. Special delivery on the crystal, and that's all Seoul should need here, Doa, to get significant progress.
Yeah, Crystal just stops moving immediately. He's like, all right, well, this is happening. This is my life now.
Goodbye.
Gesture again, just creating space with that primal rage for the payload to push a little bit farther forward. Creative close to another nano boost as well. So they're going to have the tools to finish this one out. We'll see. Molenrod down. Fitz finds a headshot there.
Yeah, a little bit of revenge here for Fitz. Back on in. Easy 6-on-5 right now for the Dynasty. And Fitz, just a shooting gallery. Here comes the Deadeye. Transcendence might not say that, but you know,
good block.
If it's still in progress, yeah, you're not going to fall. Gesture, though, cleaning up the back line, and this is going to be a quick point B for the Dynasty.
Yeah, quick point A. It's going to be a quick point B. Valiant did manage to win one fight, but it looks like that's the only one they're going to be able to get. The Silver 3 falls, and the point B is taken. Yeah, the little known Zen, well, not little known. If you play Zenyatta, you should know that you can block a Deadeye with your Transcendence. We demonstrating that pretty well right there. But also demonstrating why you don't want to push up too far forward as Zenyatta too, as he gets taken out at a pretty inopportune time to stop this payload.
Alrighty, so 4 minutes left now for the Dynasty. Plenty of time. Though it is Blizzard World Point C, where teams often will get slowed up. Not sure if it'll be the case this time, though, but if it is, it's going to be the Graviton from Shochang that's on deck.
Yeah, and we know he's got good ones. He's definitely one of the bright spots on this Valiant roster, I believe. And he's had some good Zarya ultimates this season for sure. Oh, yeah, creative. Ooh, all right. Molenrod gets a big pick on the creative. That's going to slow Seoul down quite a bit.
Yeah, I mean, you can't really be super aggro with your Ana down. The healing's not going to be there. I mean, Seoul still might do it anyways, but Gesture Discord Orb on him as Gesture's running, going, please, someone heal me. Booyah, though. Gets caught. That's able to get it. Soul still being aggressive down the Ana. And it won't be down for long. Creative about back to the fight here, Doa. And Fitz waiting for the opportunity. Oh, there's Graviton from 2U on the side. And Fitz there to clean up.
Crystal and Hybe were down already. Fitz gets 3. He's just out here death matching as the rest of the team plays the objective. And Seoul Dynasty continues to grind forward here. That was just a good grab into a good primal rage. The gravity slap. I don't know what you call it. There's got to be a name for that combo.
You just keep him in there where normally get pushed away instead. Gravity keeps you in. And okay, Fitz getting pretty aggressive here. Somehow go live the nano. The heals. Fitz survives what should have been a punish for that. Oh, no. The sleep, the Deadeye. You woke him up. How'd you wake him up? Well, he's gone anyways, though. He's gone.
It's getting a little bit silly again. Fitz had no right to survive that, but he just barely did. And now they've got the rally to push in with the rest of this. Can they get it done, ZP?
We'll have to see. Once more, Gesture into the back. Profit. They'll find Shochang. And now, just looking for a little bit extra. Transcendence is faded.
Nice
There's the stick. Goodbye. And now Profit just looking to put this one away.
Yep. That's right. They're going to get it done with 2 minutes and 9 seconds on the clock. Solid push for Seoul Dynasty. Really Valiant only stopping them up about halfway through point B for a little bit, but that was about it. Seoul Dynasty continuing to push, and I saw a little bit of the cockiness towards the end of that one. I saw Fitz out there just death matching. I mean, he played it pretty risky, but they followed through, right? I mean, and that shows the difference between these two teams right now. I mean, they can be that aggressive and make it work. They're just that much better, I think, right now.
Yeah, and again, this is a pretty big difference across the board. 2 minutes and 9 seconds, Doa, for Blizzard World. That is a fast time. I mean, realistically, teams don't even complete point C a pretty significant portion of the time, and completing it with this little time bank oftentimes is unheard of. So Seoul is well positioned to sweep the Valiant out of the series and get that number 2 seed. So see if the Valiant, if they are trying to not just play for themselves, but do a solid to the Hunters. We'll see if they can put together a good attack, but attack has been their weakness here, Doa, because that requires some serious coordination that often has been lacking for the Valiant.
Yep. What's going on here? Hanging out in the tank.
What'd you say to me?
Testing out the shield. Yep, it works. Good news. I think Valiant's going to need a siege tank to stop Seoul Dynasty here.
Yeah. I mean, if they could activate the tank, that would be the crazy X factor no one saw coming. Not even the developers. It wasn't even hard.
All right. Valiant on the attack. They got a big job ahead of them. Big time bank for Seoul Dynasty. Valiant, if they're going to push, they got to push fast.
Yeah, it has to be very quick where they have to put together multiple just flawless team fights. Already though, got the Prophet versus Silver 3 battle, but you know, it's not quite even. Silver 3 calling for a little bit back up there in the long run.
Yep.
Now Silver 3 rotating the other way, and you know, this is the thing here for the Valiant. Can they back up Silver 3 as he goes in? Silver 3 right now, looking for 2U. As everything takes place in this tiny corner. Crystal though already down, Gesture punished, 5-on-5. Not the worst for the Valiant so far.
Yeah, I mean, I think they kind of wanted to pull it into that little room there so that they could use their Brigida a little bit more, but 2U and the rest of Seoul just a little bit ready for that. Gesture goes down, but it's okay. He'll be able to get the pack fast on the Winston. Molanron getting staggered there as well. Nice shot from Creative, and Seoul Dynasty off to a good start on the defense already. I liked what Silver 3 was attempting. He was trying to just push the Zarya out into the open to give his team a little bit more shooting, and yeah, the last chance. You gotta do it for the Chengdu Hunters.
Yep,
Seoul gets a 3-0, they're moving up.
Yep, do it for the Pandas, I suppose. 2.5 minutes left to go. Silver 3
Trying
again. 2U has been the priority number 1 to a degree, trying to isolate him off to the side, but not really taking a whole lot of damage, shrugging a lot of it off, getting healed for the rest. Fitz, Bob already in reserve. Shoching though, able to coordinate with Silver 3. They get the pick off. Bob goes back. Yeah, this is still really, really good for Seoul. If Fitz could just go around. Prophet, he's waiting here, Doa. He's primed. He's good to go. The pulse bomb, it's ready. What's it going to stick on? Moving forward, and that's nothing. Doesn't get anything. In fact, the Valiant are coalescing on the point. Silver 3 with another, and this has been a very good fight for the Valiant tank line.
All right. All right, that works. Seoul Dynasty gets pushed off of point A. You know, second time was a charm apparently in terms of just dislodging 2U and taking him out early. You saw that was sort of the key to victory. That was Silver's mission, was just to harass the Zarya and get the Zarya out in the open to be taken out. No more shields, no more point A for Seoul Dynasty. So the payload is moving.
Yeah, and I mean, we've been tough on the Valiant so far, but they put together a good team fight there. We saw coordination between Silver 3 and Shocheng, and now 4 minutes left to go. I mean, they can keep this map in contest, especially if they can get this first fight here on B.
Yeah, I mean, Valiant trying to play spoiler. I mean, getting that first win is important, of course, but, you know, also just, you know, trying to prove that there's something there, right? Trying to prove that this roster can show some good maps. We've seen a couple of them here and there, but to be able to take a map off Seoul Dynasty, I think would be pretty significant for the Valiant. But time bank-wise, they got to make sure this payload keeps moving.
It just slowed down, though. They should have been engaged by now, and the Valiant, I feel like they're just thinking, how do we approach this? And time's just going off the clock here. That was a long time with nothing happening, Doa.
Yeah, I mean, I think Seoul Dynasty is being really smart right now. They're backing off. They're playing very passively. They get the kill on Silver 3. This is what you want to do if you're Seoul Dynasty. You want to wait for Valiant to make the mistake, because they probably will. And that's Prophet with the 2K Pulse Bomb.
Yeah, set up by 2U on the side, and good graviton, good follow through for Prophet, but it wasn't even a fair fight. Silver 3 just got caught early, and more than anything else, you saw the confusion from the Valiant, where for the composition that the Valiant are running, though, that should have been a much quicker engage, and it stalled out.
Yeah, I mean, it's Seoul Dynasty basically took what they saw from Valiant on the 2 CP maps, on the Assault maps, and applied it to point B here, where they said, all right, let's just give them space, because we know Valiant gets a little bit shaky when it comes to coordinating those engages. So we put it on them, we make them make the move, and then we try to take advantage of the errors. And it worked out great.
This flashback's on him. I mean, Molanron just kind of took that fight in the middle of nowhere while the rest of Valiant wasn't ready to go in. However, the punish on Fitz on top ends up happening. So it starts out 6v5, now 5v5. Silver 3 to the back. Will they get one more? Meanwhile, though, Prophet got to the back of his own, got down Crystal. Creative finishes off Silver 3, who is hunting him down the back line. Makes you wonder who's hunting whom.
I know, it was close. I mean, you saw Gesture wanted to land between the two of them and separate them to help the team carve off one, but coach gun. Crystal was ready to knock that monkey back into the air. And then it became skeet shooting, so he had to get out.
So the large amount of time
pigeon.
that Valiant had going into point B, a lot of it is simply wasted away here. Doa, only a minute 45 left as... What? What's going on there?
Oh, all right. So that happened.
Yeah, is Crystal typing? Or, I mean, there was no movement there. There's... Huh? All right.
Hello, wall.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, clearly he was looking at something else at the time. Prophet just finding a good angle, getting the drop on him.
Yeah, I mean, I
down
kind of like look back. I kind of look back and just see the movement ahead of time there.
Yeah.
Prophet,
Prophet's getting a little bit crazy here.
Yeah, just see where Crystal is. See if Crystal stops moving again. I think we'll do that all the time.
Yeah. All right. Well, 1 minute remaining for the LA Valiant to get this point B going.
A whole lot of time. Fitz opens up with the bomb. Silver 3. Powell driving in. Soul very healthy. And again, the ground's on out from Soul. And Crystal gets punished. And I don't even think he was in the grab. That was on the other side of it. Prophet now says, oh, there's a grab? I'm going to hop on in.
Oh.
Goes to the pulse bomb. But why? Why? That was showboating. That was
Prophet
not
is,
necessary.
all right, Prophet. All right. You're going for the plays. I know you want the highlight reel. You've got it. Don't you have enough highlight reels already, Prophet? Come on.
Well, there's highlight reels.
Yeah.
So there's highlight reels and there's stat padding. That was the quarterback going for like the 80-yard bomb at the end of the fourth quarter when you're already leading by 3. It was just you don't need the stick stat, Prophet. You don't need it.
Yeah, you know what happens then? The other team comes back and scores, right? So you got to be careful. That payload's moving a little bit. Seoul Dynasty has a rally. They have the nano. They got to put together a defensive stop if they want to win the series right here.
Meanwhile, Dynasty on the verge of getting the sweep, on the verge of getting that #2 seed. The Valiant, Silver 3 in, Silver 3 super
Silver
low.
3.
Gets Minefield out, but Hybe's already down. Prophet just chases Silver 3 down. Can't put too much of Silver 3. Had to keep the payload in contest, but now 3 members of Valiant out. Overtime ticks down, and that's going to be it. The series brief, the domination extreme. Dynasty.
Yeah.
Showing why they're the #2 seed.
As the great Red Eye once said, brutal, savage, wrecked. I don't think there's any other way to describe that from Seoul Dynasty over the LA Valiant there. That was a clean 3-0 for them, and kind of doing it with style. We got to see some fun stuff in that one. That was a fun series actually, ZP. It was short but sweet. But the big news is for Seoul, they're able, I believe, to move up in the standings. We'll check that a little bit later. I don't want to do the caster math. I'm afraid of doing the caster math. But I do know, ZP, a 3-0 is a good thing.
Yeah, it is a very good thing. And also it's what you expect, right?
Yeah.
Okay, we just got confirmation production.
Right. Yep, +7. So Seoul will be +7 map differential. They'll be up to #2. So big move for them. Big win for the Seoul Dynasty, and really kind of coming alive, actually. That match against New York yesterday, I feel like was kind of a turning point for the Dynasty where they kind of became this playoff team a little bit early this year. So if you're a Seoul fan, certainly something to be excited about.
Yeah, I think right now, Seoul fans have been through a lot. They know that, okay, we can expect this team to perform when it gets to the postseason. Don't always know what to expect in the regular season, but right now, it's been a treat for Seoul fans, I think. And, I think they can start getting excited as we look towards the May Melee really coming into full swing.
Yeah, I know I'm going to be watching with much excitement myself. Let's talk about our player of the match. It's going to be Prophet. Yeah, we gave it to him, even though there were the shenanigans on Anubis and all that. But he still played great today. He got the damage done when it needed to be done, got the kills that he needed to get. And, in the end, a big part of what makes this Seoul Dynasty team so successful.
Yeah, I mean, what more can you say about Prophet? I mean, not just playing well within this given series, but one of the best players in Overwatch history. There's not a lot of players you can look at and go, you've been around since, pretty much the beginning of the Overwatch League, going even before that. And you've just consistently been top in class. I mean, this is a game where it's difficult to stay on top. How many veterans have we seen leave the league after just 1 year, let alone the amount of time that Prophet has been in? And every year he continues to impress, and this is more of the same. Yeah, there's a little bit of showboating, but Prophet is just awesome.
I mean, he's that good. When you're this good, when you're a former champion, like, you can do this kind of stuff. The Echo is super entertaining there, and you know what? I could watch Prophet highlight reels all day, And I think we might get a chance if they continue to play well going into the May Melee tournament.
Yeah, I think that's very likely. Seoul, definitely one of the most dynamic teams and looking better than ever. And look, you might be going, yeah, but they just beat the Valiant. What are you talking about, man? Like, of course, it's like, look, you can still judge a team by degree of dominance over a team that's weaker than them. And this is still impressive from the Dynasty. Not every team would have been able to hand things to the Valiant quite the way the Dynasty did here today.
I mean, that's exactly it, ZP, right? Is that we saw them play against a pretty strong team yesterday in New York Excelsior, and they won that 3-0. It was a close 3-0, but they were able to do it. Now you put them against a team like the Valiant, and they're able to take a dominating 3-0 victory. That's the kind of consistent performance you want to see from a team that's looking to make a deep playoff run. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. We're going to take a quick break, but when we come back, we'll wrap up this match. So don't go anywhere, guys. Overwatch League is going to return in just a few.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by Xfinity, the preferred internet provider of the Overwatch League.
Welcome back to the Overwatch League. You know, ZP and I were talking during the little break we had about what we were going to do for our Cheez-It Grooves game break. And, you know, there's only one moment to me that really stands out as what could really encompass this particular dimension of crunch time. You know, you brought up when we were chatting, there's many dimensions of crunch time, aren't there?
Yes, there's so many ways to experience crunch. We're not just talking about the savory flavor of your favorite snack. No, duh. Right now we're talking about the ephemeral feeling of just your pride getting crunched as you showboat against the enemy and you just get it thrown right back in your face. You go, you know what? We're so far ahead. We're going to duplicate an Ana. We're going to nano boost that Ana. And we're so good that we're going to lose this point because why? Why?
This is sick, though. Look. Sleep dart on Shochang right away. That's pretty sick, right? You know, okay, good start. He's staying alive. He's keeping gesture healed, right? He gets the nano boost specifically. He tosses it onto creative. It's like, LOL, we nano boosted our Ana. We did it. Mission accomplished. But then, of course, things did not go well. Valiant ended up coming back and taking the point, and it ended up being a bit of a hubris crunch instead of a mind crunch for Seoul Dynasty there.
Or another spin out, it's the forbidden crunch that they went there. It carries a terrible cost afterwards.
Right. But I mean, there was just like, that is just one of the most entertaining things I've ever seen. Like, I mean, at the end of the day, what more can you say? Like, yeah, it was silly, and they lost the point, but I love it. Keep doing that in a way that then wins the point. That's the way you make that better, Seoul Dynasty. There you go. Free coaching advice. You're welcome.
That's what we're here for. We're here to talk to you about crunch time, not just in the normal ways, but all the other ways that it can impact your life. And this was a big learning lesson, really was.
Yep, that's right. So on that note, we're going to wrap up the Seoul Dynasty versus LA Valiant set. Again, Seoul Dynasty getting the 3-0, jumping up in the standings. Huge match for them. Rough time again for the LA Valiant, but hey, you know, it's only the beginning of the season. We'll see what they can do. Our next series coming up, it's going to be Guangzhou Charge versus Hangzhou Spark. You don't want to miss that. It's going to be Avril and Achilleos casting that one. They will be with you in just a few. Don't go anywhere. The Overwatch League will return shortly.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by Cheez-It Grooves. So much flavor, it's a mind crunch.
See if you can full it in. There's the ult from Rio. Is it enough?
Choi just keep going.
Again with the 2K.
Choi has 3. Another 3 for Choi. 4. Just 4.
Dude.
Okay.
I'm blown away. Choi Sewan MVP.
Now, because Architect's been pushing this payload for so long, they have got Graviton Surge, and Bernard can just launch it at the back line. He does just that.
And with the sticky on the pulse bomb, it finds Toby and Carpe. That's 2 huge picks here.
Stylistic differences. Rio, go ahead and take that nano boost. Get a couple kills here. Whoa, okay. Sometimes monkey slap.
They will be able to try to get back into this fight, but is it going to be too late now that Cosby has managed to take that pick onto Carpe? Alarm is put to sleep. He has that nano boost and the grab coming alive. It's going to be a cleanup right here, Jaws, as the rest of Spark, they send Fusion back to the spawn.
Alrighty, welcome back. Achilles and Avril jumping on the cast to guide you guys through the rest of the evening. Yet again, you and I jumping in after a very swift series. This time, just one coming in for the second and the third, so we still have plenty more Overwatch action to go through this evening. But yeah, I mean, man, what a way for Seoul Dynasty to go ahead and punch their ticket into that second slot for the May Melee. Very concise victory for them in that last series. Now we look forward to the future for our next series to see how these two teams are going to perform.
Yep, it's going to be the classic Joe-off. We got Hangzhou Spark versus the Guangzhou Spark. You know, 6 times these teams have met in the past. There's only one remaining spot left in the APAC qualifiers for the May Melee here. Of course, Hangzhou Spark, after the loss yesterday, they can't make it in anymore. The best result they can get is a 1-3, so they've been unfortunately eliminated. Guangzhou Charge, though, still have an opportunity here. So, you know, you mentioned already, but with Seoul Dynasty collecting a 3-0, they move up into the second seed here above the Chengdu Hunters. There's still a 4th seed available. Could be Shanghai, Guangzhou, or New York. All 3 teams have a bit of a shot to kind of just narrow it down to give a simplistic take on how this is going to work. Basically, if Shanghai win it all, they make it in. Otherwise, Guangzhou and New York just have to do the best they can.
Yeah, well, we'll see who can come out. Like you said, the battle of the Joes, the average Joes, as we like to say for a classic little dodgeball reference. But guys, make sure you submit your artwork to our fan art gallery at overwatchleague.com/art-gallery. See if your stuff gets featured. We've already seen some wonderful artwork. Who knows? Maybe the devs will decide to put some of it in the game. I can't make any promises on that front, but it would be really nice if we could, because you know, seeing some of the skins that have made it into the game so far have just been absolutely wonderful. So maybe we get some more fan-featured content put out there. So the more you submit, the more likely maybe it becomes. I don't know. I don't control any of this stuff. Yell at Hex.
You can draw better than Mr. X. If you can do better than Cole, you know, it's
anybody
you're
can
up
do
for it.
better than that. Anybody can do better than what Mr. X does. Yeah, I think that if I had a child tomorrow, I could hand them a marker and it would look a bit more in line with the Mona Lisa compared to Mr. X's artwork. But here's our standings at the moment for the APAC region. So unfortunately for the Valiant, they have yet to pick up that win, find themselves at that -11 map differential. So it's been rough tidings overall for them. Fusion, strong at the top. Chengdu Hunters as well right there. So our 3 teams locked in. Everybody vying for this final slot. Guangzhou Charge and NYXL, they need to come out swinging if they want to get themselves into it.
And just to, you know, talk over it a little bit more, I alluded to that already, but you did see up there, obviously Seoul are in, they have a +7, so don't mind that it shows that Chengdu's number 2 with the +7 map differential. Seoul are definitely 2nd seed, not 3rd seed, but yeah, there's one more seed left up for grabs here, Seth, and it's going to be a rough one because, as is mentioned, if Shanghai win their match versus New York at all, they're just in. Their record is far too far ahead. Right now, they're at a +1, while being at a 2-1. You got Guangzhou Charge sitting at -3. You have New York Excelsior sitting at a -4, so they're quite a fair bit ways behind. Guangzhou Charge need for New York to defeat the Shanghai Dragons, and then Guangzhou Charge also need to have a better map differential than the New York Excel, which they can achieve, I think, just by getting an equal map record or better map record in their matchup versus Hangzhou than what New York are going to have to do versus Shanghai. So really the hard job is going to come down in New York, but at least I think New York are mostly, you know, they have their fate in their own hands. Guangzhou require New York to win as well as themselves need a good map record today.
Yeah, I mean, it's a rough spot to be in, you know, when you're just relying on yourself to have a really solid series. Like if Guangzhou Charge came into today and they say, okay, you know what, if we get a 3-0, we get that 4th slot, then it's easier. You get something that you can really focus in on. The tension doesn't end at the end of this series. It carries onward into that next set to see if the Shanghai Dragons are going to be victorious as well. So that's, you know, an awkward amount of pressure and tension to be under. But we'll take a closer look at 2 of our support players here between Guangzhou and Hangzhou. Kariv versus MCD, who had a really great day yesterday.
Exactly, and we look towards these guys as the Ana players because I think both teams are going to be favoring a lot of double bubble today. That's been the primary composition that I think, you know, when you look at the Guangzhou Charge, they've been playing a lot of that recently, looking at the Hangzhou Spark as well, especially in their matchup versus Shanghai yesterday, last night. The maps they look good on, the maps they won were via the double bubble composition. And MCD, Kariv, these 2 guys getting fast nano boost, really putting the healing in, getting those nanos onto their Winston's. That's kind of going to be the win conditions that both teams are going to be looking towards. Close stats, good stats across the board. Decent amount more final blows for MCD though, which I think is very, very good. And Kariv is going to come through with a little bit more sleeping and a little bit more healing done.
Yeah, we'll see if MCD can be as elusive as he was just yesterday. You know, obviously was able to play through King's Row without having died once. I mean, everybody on the side of Hangzhou Spark with very, very low deaths, but him in particular, not even suffering a single loss of his life. So it was really solid performance from him. Fast build times on those nano boosts, and that's going to be really key in this matchup between he and Kariv, who is, you know, so well known. At this point, I mean, Kariv, when you think about best Anas in the league, Kariv is definitely going to be at the top of your list, you know, when you just start thinking about who are the most impactful Ana players. Kariv, ever since he entered the Overwatch League, and even before then, has always been delivering with that pick. Taking a look at the Guangzhou Charge starting 6, it's not going to be any real shocks here. Eileen, Choi Se-wan, Rio, Krong, Kariv, and Mandu.
And the important thing here to note, a couple of important things, is one, Eileen is still coming in over my Kaylee. So Kaylee started in the first week where you have to say the performance from the Guangzhou Charge wasn't great. They were 0-6, completely winless. They had nothing working for them. And that opening week versus Shanghai or Seoul Dynasty. Now as we start to move into, you know, week number 3 and they come back in, Eileen suddenly on the roster. You look at the match versus Valiant that they had just yesterday. Much better showing. Eileen's coming through on very similar heroes. He's obviously got the Echo and other heroes that he brings as well, but primarily he kind of just replaces my Kaylee specifically on the Ashe, which was meant to be kind of Kaylee's signature hero, but again, the underperformance has probably required a bit of a roster adjustment here. Rio also comes in over Ji-Hun, who, you know, would kind of, and these 2 players do trade positions and do trade, you know, playing time. What it really says about what the Guangzhou Charge are trying to do here, though, is they're moving towards probably more Winston or Ryan-focused compositions. Ji-Hun would normally be in for the ball, so as we head into the first map, probably not expecting too much ball comps from the Charge side.
Yes, have to see what they want to piece together. Obviously, any chance you get to throw a Sigma in the mix, it's going to do really well for Krong in particular. But if they're feeling more comfortable overall by going with the double bubble or going with the Reinhardt, then maybe that's what we'll see. But double bubble, that's a lot of what we're anticipating, kind of hoping to see from the side of the Hangzhou Spark. We did see Seoul Dynasty start off the series yesterday. They ended up losing that map of Nepal, so instead we will be seeing Architect off the bat. And this likely leads us to believe that it's going to be a bit more of that Tracer Ashe.
I think this is the winning composition. This is the winning combo. This is the winning roster for the Hangzhou Spark so far. And I think you would normally see Somin Su come in for that opening control if it was more, you know, moving towards something brawl-centric. You want to see Somin Su on the May, possibly on the Reaper, something like that. He's going to be bringing out the Symmetra, like those are the Somin Su heroes so far for the Hangzhou Spark. But like you said, for Shy, we're looking towards Ashe. We're looking towards Arctic playing Tracer. This is going to be a team where for Spark to really focus on that double bubble composition once more. They have to address where they were good last night, and ideally they just go back to that and play that as much as they can.
Yeah, and if they can do that, then honestly, you really kind of start to favor them and think that they're going to have a really good time in this series, you know, despite the fact that Charge have overall looked pretty decent, and Hangzhou Spark are still, you know, struggling from time to time, but they definitely looked a lot cleaner when you can get Gooshway on those comfort picks, get Shy in on the Ashe, so we'll see if that is going to be the game plan the whole way throughout the series, or if this is just going to be for the start. Do we see Somin Su come in at all? So there's still a lot of questions to be answered here from the side of the Hangzhou Spark, but, you know, again, we touched on this a lot yesterday. It's understandable. They did just undergo a major shift in their coaching staff, so they're still, you know, trying to piece things together at the moment, but it seems like they found a very solid foundation in that series versus Shanghai yesterday. So we'll see if this now, you know, getting that first set out of the way, if this is going to be a bigger boon for them, if they can go ahead and net a little win, spare some blushes at the end, as they are already eliminated from the May Melee tournament, but maybe they can end things here on a nice little victory.
And that's the thing, right? Because they haven't actually won yet. They're 0-3 currently. This could be their first opportunity to really get that win underway. Guangzhou Charge have looked like a weaker team so far in APAC. However, this week they started to bounce back. So have Hangzhou Spark caught Guangzhou still in a weak spot, or are they now playing against a Guangzhou Charge that are much better than they were, in which case Guangzhou can still come in and win? We talked at length about how much Guangzhou Charge needs this win to keep their May Melee hopes alive, but if you're the Hangzhou Spark, you also need a win here, because you do not want to be ending your first stage 0-4 next to the LA Valiant.
Straight off the bat.
Yeah, well, there you go. More time to maybe just, you know, get into the nuance between the two teams, because I think I mentioned this before as well, but 6 times these two teams have actually met in the past, and 4 of those matches, fun fact, have actually gone to a map 5. So if anything, maybe we're expecting a long series here.
Okay, well, it seems like everything's going to be okay and quickly taken care of as the players go ahead and spam ready. Kariv confirming that Guangzhou is also ready to resume, so we just need to get the admins set to go ahead and unleash us from this pause hell that we sometimes find ourselves in. Didn't quite, it looked like somebody had said what the issue was, but I didn't quite get to catch what it was before the chat scrolled away. But just your esports history lesson when players type PP. It's not because they have to go to the restroom. It says, please pause. It's been used since the StarCraft Brood War days in competitive play, and it continues onward.
That being said, like if you go pause long enough, maybe you could go to the bathroom, but that's what the breaks between maps are for. That's why you see players run out of the seats pretty much instantly. But, well, here we go. Map number 1, going over towards Gardens. Architect on towards the Echo here. Shy is going to be Tracer. Yes, we're not going to be seeing Ashe to start things out with an actual brawl from the Guangzhou Charge side of things as well. I thought maybe they'd be leaning towards a choice safe on Tracer, not to start things out with though.
Yeah, and it's going to be Shy on Tracer as well, with an Architect going into this guys with the Echo. Going to be battling against this McCree. Be a dangerous prospect. We'll see how they want to try to pile it around this. Right now they're looking to break down the wall to try to save Bernard's life, but it's too little too late. He will be the first blood here. Guangzhou will very easily be able to nab the first lockdown to the point. Let's see how the reapproach comes in. Bernard immediately going to be swapping off of the Zarya. Goes for the Diva now to rejoin in a little bit faster and try to mitigate some of the damage coming through. If not, keep one of these blizzards with course they want.
It's just down to the single bubble now, and 60% for MCD as well, waiting for a possible engage option. The nano's required here. You will see Gooshway take a bit of damage on purpose, trying to charge that one up, and, you know, part of the win condition that we saw yesterday from Hangzhou Success is definitely here in terms of Gooshway starting on the Winston. We'll have to see how that follows up. Architect on 1 HP. Luckily, they'll get him up.
Yeah, he and IDK both quite low into the back. Goes shy. Flashbang not going to connect Mylene. Just banning the hammer. Rolls back. It's the reload. Trying to stay safe. Freezes out on the Goose Ray. And even with an Anubis, it's not going to be enough to try to keep him alive. So he does get melted down. Kong finding that kill. And it seems like Guangzhou Charge will be able to hold on to this point for a bit longer at least. Wizard used in the fight. They get the win. Ant Matrix burned as well. But otherwise, fairly efficient here from the side of the Charge. Nearly have that sound barrier online. Pulse bomb out. Ooh, almost finds Eileen, but not quite going to be good enough to take down the Cowboy. Architect swinging. Has the Shatter online. He's going to try to set up for it. Drops it straight into the shield. Only finds one hit. Not going to work. And now he's got to pull back, but he's unable to do so as Eileen takes him out of the sky.
Eileen's going to take down Shy as well, so that's going to be the fight over. Rio solo Shadow into Goose Race. The Primal's not going to get too much more done. That looked like a possible turnaround for the Hangzhou Spark. You consider that the duplication is there. There's also a Primal. These are good ultimates. Shy's thinking, you know what? Ashe was how we won yesterday. Go back to the Ashe. Is Architect staying on the Echo? Probably for now. Ashe Echo is doable, but it will, you know, I guess in this composition, kind of work out since there's no Tracer online for choice at one or the side of Guangzhou Charge. You're not really thinking too hard about the backline threats here. See if this gets enough damage. And we're already on 90%, and Hangzhou Spark need a lot to work with. And all the ultimates are basically on Charge's side.
Yeah, I mean, we know that Shy can build up a very rapid bomb here, but let's get these picks, get a decent little damage in. For the shot now on the choice A1. Does man tap him once in the skull. He's going to go ahead into the ice block, get topped up. Nearly has another Blizzard ready to roll. Immortality Field going to be used. Wall comes through to block out that self-destruct. Architect pushing forward with the beam. Does manage to get rid of free health. It's a big major part here of that front line taken down. Gushwei hopping to the side, trying to stay alive. Keeps himself in the fight for a little bit longer as the self-destruct comes in, and it does find the Winston. It's the kill. That eye not going to lead to any kills naturally, but it gets quite a bit of damage through. There's a follow-up coming in now as Bernard will get demeched. OT will bleed away, and it's a 100-0 start for Guangzhou Charge.
Hangzhou came into that one unfortunately quite slowly. You know, they had to build up this nano. They couldn't find the early damage, and ideally they can get into a situation where they just play for range. They play for Architect's win condition on the Echo. If you can find a target, you can beam down, get a 6v5 in there as well. You start seeing, you know, the Hangzhou engine working, but Brawl ends up being quite powerful for the Charge side, which again, surprising. I thought maybe they'd lead in towards the double bubble. They will now as we head into city centers. So how about that? Bernard's going to be, I think he'll realize at some stage if Krong's going to go Zarya, Bernard might decide to go to Zarya as well. But otherwise, looking at this on city center with the elevation, D.Va's actually not bad either.
Yep. Oh. Shift coming through. Bernard still going to be starting with the D.Va. Krong there on the Zarya. So just the one little minor adjustment so far. Bionade at the start just going to be flipping on Bernard as they look for the opening fight. Architect trying to position himself up above everybody, but takes so much damage. Almost gets taken out, but Eileen can't quite line up that final shot. Down him at 13 HP, and Architect is going to be breathing a sigh of relief that he's able to escape from that and come back into the fight after getting topped up. See where he wants to go as far as his duplicate ultimate this time around. Does open things up nicely with 2 kills. Eileen then into Mandu, beaming him down. This time it seems like Hangzhou Spark, quite handedly, will be able to win on the first fight and get the lockdown on the point.
It's okay, mate. It's the Battle of the Joes. We'll get there. That's what we're expecting today with Architect. You know, this time around he's low again, so it's very similar to what we saw in the neutral earlier on Gardens. Architect down to 1 HP, but he survives, and this is where the D.Va really helps out, right? Because the defensive matrix pocketing keeps him up there. Also has the capability of diving on the same target as Architect. So you're seeing the Hangzhou Spark side playing more for the Echo win condition rather than putting resources into Goose Ray, which is where they're going to find the wins, because Architect finds those 2 kills and they get what they needed to do done here, what they couldn't get done on Gardens, which is get the opening damage to convert a kill with the focusing.
Pulse bomb nearly going up now. Nano boost through Rio. Shoving them back, almost finds MCD, who lets his own Nano boost go. Gushwei snapping into the back lines alongside Shy. Will come up with multiple kills. Choice they want trades 1 back, but seems like that might be as good as it gets. Gushwei does get the finish here onto Krong, making sure that they can reset his energy to make it that much longer, that much harder of a task for him to try to build up towards his first Graviton Surge.
You can see that Hangzhou Spark's dive coordination and their dive pressure so much higher because they're running, you know, more actual dive heavy heroes. You have the D.Va that can follow up on the Winston and also the Echo and also the Tracer, so it's like a 4-man dive squad, and that's quite powerful. Guangzhou Charge are kind of lacking it when playing the more classic double bubble here. They're going to be trying to receive this dive, use the flashbangs, use the shield bash, unless losing members. It's another double Bionet that comes through from MCD that will win the fight.
Oh, I'm not sure about that one. Going in for the Deadeye. Now the knockback just sent Krong into the pit. Well, they're trying to do so. Bubble himself to live a little bit longer, but just be dead against that pillar at the end as Architect continues to excel right now, just commanding the skies. Eileen, a bit wanting with that last Deadeye attempt, was bionated, jumped on. Everybody melted. It's a really nice made overall from MCD. Now they're looking to take the fight over towards the spawn just to ensure that the Guangzhou Charge cannot touch. Primal Rage will be used by Rio to get himself over onto the point as we hit 99% now for the side of the Guangzhou Charge. Or the Hangzhou Spark, rather. Shy, with this pulse bomb, gonna break open the back line, get rid of some of these ultimates. If he can find Karif right now, that would deny the nano boost. Would be absolutely huge. Rio, however, still going to be gone, so now they don't have a great recipient for the nano. It's going to have to go onto somebody like Krong or maybe even Eileen as they look to flip this point.
Waiting for the grab here. I mean, you want to grab into Bionet from Kareem. Here's the nano to Krong, so they're putting all the eggs into this basket. He slept, and the both supports are down. Seth, I think this is it. There's no more supports alive, and they're not going to be able to contest either 100-0, and we respond in kind. Where Spark really struggled on Gardens, they come back much stronger on City Center. And if you're the Charge here, you have to start thinking, was it good for us to run the McCree here? Or would it have been better for, let's say, for example, Eileen to go Echo, Choice F1, yeah, he can stay on the Tracer here and maybe lean more towards what Spark were playing. I mean, it's easy to say that, seeing now that Spark have won, but the extra Diva, plus the Echo diving, putting the resources this time in towards Architect instead of Gooseray, and then for Gooseray to still perform kind of adequately, and you know, Shy was able to find a lot of damage on Tracer, which yesterday we saw Shy, we're thinking, yeah, this guy's great on Ash so far, and maybe we just want to see more Ash, and today you're seeing now the Tracer's actually more than up to scratch. On top of that, MCD lands a ton of double Bionades on, and I think it was Mandu and Eileen copying a couple of those in a row. Those Bionades really make a huge difference.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been great accuracy from MCD. He has been shifting over now to the Baptiste, so we will not see him on at least for the start of the round. But this is not going to be too shocking as everybody just looking to run at each other here with the McCree May. Krong falling back onto his favorite pick of the Sigma. Make sure that he's utilizing his own personal comfort here. Just playing around the flank, trying to poke out onto Bernard where possible. Keep that shield raised. He has been quite low this entire time. Going back over onto the point now, Shy getting a nice ding in onto Rio, softens him up. They do get a stun down. They're looking to finish off the enemy Rhine. They're unable to do so, and it's actually going to be the Sparks Rhine who does fall. Eileen getting the kill onto Gooseray, so maybe Guangzhou just go ahead and swing this right back over into their favor. Get the first lockdown. They do so.
You see, by the way, Gooseray's body dying quite close, so maybe he was out of position. Certainly got frozen up, and you know, eventually the extra damage output, extra brawling capability, and you know, this is where Sigma's actually kind of underrated. Brawl has quite a few different colors available. I mean, we played the Zarya previously, now we're looking towards Diva, and some teams still actually prefer the Sigma as Krong. So you noted, maybe a comfort pick as well. Krong is super, super good on the Sigma that we saw from last season. And you know, just the extra output from the Sigma, the second shield as well, pretty good. So, windows available on both ends, expecting both windows to be deployed.
Aggro fight coming in, Shy looking to save them back. This is the Deadeye, won't be able to find too much. Gets that flashbang in, fancy hammer on the Krong and take him down to about half HP, but the heals will start streaming through to keep him topped up. Blizzard now coming in. Shy going to be the first one to fall. Architect lasting a little bit longer, given his own ice block, but the wall will not really take him out to safety, it seems. That being said, the Mortality Field comes in. Blizzard's going to be used on the back of the Shatter. They do manage to get a freeze here onto both of the tanks. Pin comes in, it's going to be good as Rio will fall. They need a bit more than that, though, to get themselves onto the point.
That's cold.
See if he wants to turn, because on half HP, currently the only tank available. Here comes that Flux. They want to go for this one. If they can confirm a lot with the Flux and have Krong stay alive and 14 HP, Rio's coming back from spawn. It is still doable. At least it will force out extra ultimates from the Spark.
Yeah, they're making them burn through everything that they have. Rio just goes in to delay a little bit longer. It's not going to be any kind of 99% play. Mondu pushing him up to 73s. The flip does come in, but he said a lot has to be expended by the Spark just to get themselves onto the point for the first time here on University. Deadeye shattered. Nearly that immortality, rather the Amp Matrix is available here for Kareev. You know, plenty to work with to go for this long left angle approach. Uses his own, wall comes up, just going to buy time.
You do need to see Spark go first here because they know they have less ultimates. They have to burn, or rather, you know, they have to try and farm more ultimates as they pop down the amplification matrix. Guangzhou Charge don't want to fight, they're happy to wait it out. They know they're ahead in percentage on terms of the actual cap itself, so coming back in, it's Kareem's turn. They also have the Deadeye. Shadow might be played here as well.
Deadeye here from Eileen. There's the Ant Matrix.
Who's in the pit?
Good ice block from Architect, keeps himself safe, but IDK is dead. Now Architect gone. Can already used that self-protection. Bernard going up into the sky. Shatter comes down and does manage to catch on to 3 members. The Immortality Field gets used. The counter Shatter comes in. Gushwei trying to protect, trying to just pull back here onto the point, but Rio swinging away. Manages to find the kill, will knock Bernard out of the mech. The point has flipped back into the favor of the Guangzhou Charge, and this is going to be one-fight territory now for the Spark.
You do see Charge there. I mean, they know that Gushwei was into the pit, but they still got caught by the Shatter. It was a bit of a, scary moment there for the Guangzhou Charge. Maybe they can get caught by the Shatter, and this is where Spark can turn the fight around. Couldn't get the damage in though, so despite Gushwei's heroics coming up through the side room, will still go down, takes a ton of damage, 95%. This is definitely last fight. Spark need to rapidly contest this as fast as they can. Kareem will nearly have a window, and he'll pop it instantly.
Get the Blizzard just cutting them off at the front. IDK kind of sacrificing himself, goes down, gets into the pit, does manage to pick up the Mega Pack to stay alive for a little bit longer, but needs to get back up top to rejoin in with the rest of his team. Delays coming in, Architect using his own Blizzard, looking for some kills. Gushwei going to be the first one to fall. Now they don't have a shield to stand behind, but MCD and IDK start doing some serious work. They come up with a few kills. They continue to extend this. IDK with another one. Takes down Eileen as he uses the Deadeye. They will actually swing the fight. They have to throw everything in the kitchen sink at this, but the Spark, they get a second lease on life.
I don't know if Mandu had the sound barrier in time, or certainly didn't have enough place to save towards the end there, so save it and move on. We've also held his Matrix for a little bit longer than I expected. Obviously, choice of one with the early Blizzard to try and stop the Spark from entering onto the point itself. And now as we head towards this next fight, it's double tank ultimate's available, and we're starting to run out of resource for the Spark. We need to see IDK get the sound barrier up as fast as possible, because that flux is probably going to open things up, and IDK needs to respond.
Oh, the Shatter is good. It catches both the DPS. Now the Flux is going to be coming in on the back end. That being said, as this Flux comes through, Rio and Eileen have already fallen. IDK gets the beat. They manage to survive. The counter Shatter comes in, and suddenly the Spark might just be able to close this out. 92% on the board as Mandu dies here on the back end. Can obviously rejoin in quite quickly, but they have to really rely on Rio alone to tag this point. He makes his way into the back, but he's going to be frozen. He pops the shield. It's not going to be enough. They melt him down, and is that just it? It looks like it will be. Cowboy cannot get there fast enough, and the Hangzhou Spark, they managed to take the first map here of Oasis, seemingly pulling the rug out from beneath Guangzhou's feet.
Yeah, what a turnaround there. That was insane. I mean, you look towards that second to last fight, the clutch coming on through. IDK gets a couple on the boop, including taking down Eileen while going for the Deadeye. So, plays like that, and then having the capability to come through in the last fight, Gushwei lands a Shatter, and suddenly everything comes online at exactly the right time. Spark comes through. They manage to get this miraculous fight win, and it looked like it was over for the Spark, but there it is. They get the Brawl map victory, and, we have this kind of thing. Yesterday we were saying, no double bubble, no win. Well, now they actually come through the Brawl mirror, and they win that as well.
Yeah, fantastically done from them, just completely shifting that ult economy on its head back into their favor. The good counter ult coming through, the shatters from Gushwei, nailing multiple people. It's a good look for the Hangzhou Spark, but let's see if they can keep it up or if Guangzhou can respond with a map one of their own as we get ready to go into map number 2. That's going to be coming up in just a few minutes, so do not go anywhere.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by T-Mobile, America's largest and fastest 5G network. Set your sights on the competition with T-Mobile. And by Indeed, we help people get jobs. The Overwatch League is brought to you by Coca-Cola, the official refreshment of the Overwatch League, and by IBM, the official cloud and AI partner of the Overwatch League.
Alrighty, welcome back. Well, we start things off here in our second series of the day with a bit of a roller coaster on Oasis. Hangzhou Spark able to take it in the end 2-1, but both teams fighting extremely hard to try and get that map away from the other. But Spark, they barely are able to clinch it out in the final moments.
And you have Spark going off to a pretty rough start on that Gardens. Obviously, they tried to play the double bubble into the Brawl. Brawl more successful there. It was just difficult for the Hangzhou Spark to get anything going. The Nanos weren't really finding enough value. Guangzhou was getting melted. We swap sides. We go towards City Center. Then you have this kind of a more dive-centric double bubble, if that makes sense, with the the Echo coming through and even the variation of the Diva. So I guess it's not really double bubble, just a single bubble there for Guangzhou. But they give them so much more dive priority that it kind of they get so many better engages in the Charge team. Moving into the double brawl, I expected that maybe Charge were going to take the lead here and kind of take down the Hangzhou Spark, but in what was an incredible turnaround, Spark will get that final sub-map in a really decisive manner as well, right towards the end. 2 fights in a row. And a couple of notable things I noticed as well was Architect got 1,700 damage, more than Choice at 1 on the May, and Guangzhou out-damaged Rio on the Rhine by 1,800.
Good figures. I mean, that's enough to, to push the limit and get you across the board. I mean, and those shatters as well. Huge value coming in from Guangzhou. I mean, not to say that Rio wasn't getting some pretty meaty ones either, but turnaround was there. We got some really good bloodthirsty support moments. I'm sure Doa is watching and relaxing at home right now in the evening hours in Los Angeles, going like, yes, I enjoy this very much. Just going like this with his fingers. As, IDK and MCD just, between the two of them, turned that, that second to last fight around by, getting rid of Eileen as he's in the middle of the Deadeye and whatnot. It was really good play from everybody. A very concerted effort overall to get that map win for the Hangzhou Spark. Now we look forward to Temple of Anubis, our second map in the series, as we do move into Assault, to see if Guangzhou is going to be able to turn this around on its head, tie us up, or if we will be looking at a very strong lead from the side of the Spark.
Now, important thing to note here is that May Melee back in over Eileen, so
yes,
Charge, they're going to be trusting this. And as I said previously, when we looked at the history of Guangzhou Charge so far this season, 0-6 in that first week, and they had May Melee playing the entire time. Didn't see Eileen at all, as far as I remember. And since Eileen's been back, at least for the Valiant game, that was the first win for the Guangzhou Charge, and Eileen was playing the same heroes anyway. Now going over to Anubis, where, I think Charge's game plan here is definitely to play, for someone like Kaylee, I would expect the Ashe. That's been kind of his hero. I know they haven't quite started on it yet. Are they actually going to do Kaylee Tracer? I suspect they probably wouldn't. It is.
I think they're just going to be screwing around a little bit. Still in the drop.
Yeah, that'll be the case. So I think this is the case where you're looking towards the hero pools and you're thinking, well, if you have a specific Ashe specialist, put Kaylee onto it, or to make it just a grapple out of the spawn. But again, a bit of trust required here because Kaylee has been on a losing streak with the Charge.
We'll see if he's going to be having a slightly different fortune here today. Choice I want for the moment, swapping over onto the Echo. We'll be matching Architect if they decide to stick through it. Kaylee coming around the side. See if he just wants to go for a pop shot or if he's going to be looking to commit in with this Widow for now.
I think Krong might change. This is a little bit more weird to be playing, I think, the Diva to start out with. Now, I know we had that discussion over towards, City Center on Oasis, but this is a little bit more different. So, we'll see what Krong does as we move forward. Obviously, taking a look towards both Ana plays, that's the most important stat here. Guangzhou getting damaged, but that's fine. MCD's using that field.
Kaylee somehow staying alive there. Architect not quite able to find that final blow. Dangerously low, though. Continue to poke out onto the Shy. Will knock Choice they want out of the sky. Let's find that body shot. Now pressing forward. Oh my God, the double tap as he's grappling out. Wonderful tracking there from Shy. Some might even call it beautiful. They just break down this bubble. There's a classic reference for you. And it's going to be a firm start to this defense now for the side of the Hangzhou Spark. Kaylee, however, coming back from the spawn, does manage to find Architect, and I don't think he's quite going to be resable, but it's hard to say. Haven't been able to see exactly where the corpse is at. I hear the... Yep, there we go. He does get him in the end. But IDK gives his life for that, so that might not even be very good. Architect, if he can get a duplicate up, they can delay in this fight, maybe it'll end up being worth it in the end. But IDK, he's not going to have anybody able to come back and try to ferry him back over to the point, so he's just going to straight up swap now over onto the Lucio.
Yeah, they need the nano. IDK knows he's got no time to work with, so that's a brilliant counter trade coming on through. And now you're starting to think it's probably not worth it. Architect dies, but you don't want to res him with IDK down. Bob's going to buy a bit of time here, which is decent. This nano as well needs to carry further. I think the nano's already been used at this point. Gushue has a primal available and should be able to hold on now with IDK back on Lucio.
Well, IDK is doing IDK things. Should be named IDC because he just does whatever the hell he wants.
Maybe he doesn't know.
And maybe he doesn't know what he's doing, but it just looks really good. It's just accidentally styles on people from time to time. Gushue going to be taking a little bit of a nap. As they set up, Bionade in with the sticky bomb.
Can't even primal.
In the meantime does get traded out, but yeah, he can't pop the primals, just no time. Really good coordination there to get the punish if he needs to. He's going to be all right to actually rush back. They're not getting their way onto the point super quickly here. So he will be able to rejoin in. Not have to use that primal early, especially with Architect doing this. Goes ahead, gets a duplicate out onto Rio, gets his own primal online, and just looks to cause all sorts of disruption by knocking people around. Just delaying them being able to get in onto the point. The sleep will come through. Yeah, they kind of just have to leave him there, though. They don't want to wake him back up. Gushue rejoining the fight, pops the primal, does get antied for the moment. IDK on a little bit low, trying to duke it out here against Michele, but he will get the better of the Lucio this time around. Shy now out of the fight as well. Gushue taking yet another nap. Kariv is just nailing him with these darts time and time again, and that will be point A going the way of the charge.
Unfortunately for Spark, it was kind of inevitable at that stage. If IDK comes back on a Lucio, you don't have great opportunities to try and win anymore. Lucio just doesn't have good healing targets here. Lucio just doesn't really work in this composition. And eventually you're going to get grinded out. Gushue getting slept and instantly burned down, no chance to primal is kind of insult to injury at that stage. Thankfully, Architect did have a duplicate, holds on, use the primal, and really tries to allow time for Gushue to come back in. Now striking the kill into Melee, though. This will stop Charge from getting a double cap. There's also no ultimates, really speaking, for the Charge just yet, working towards a nano. And now they are playing proper double bubble, so there it is. Both teams playing the same comp, roughly.
Yeah, another shot. Trying to say one out of the fight. Just have to wait that much longer. I mean, dink, time and time again. It's just doming people. Accuracy on this guy is terrifying.
That's what Melee needs to be thinking about as well towards this McCree. I mean, they're playing in more of a... I see it that if they get onto the point itself and Kaylee uses, this extra HP on the McCree, rolling out with the flashbang as well, it's going to be pretty decent. There's so much time and space has been bought by Spark via just shy pushing them away, a couple of nice picks. Nano available on both sides, but the Bob will just delay. Longer this goes, Gushue is going to pick up a primal as well, the defensive primal. So much more useful. I think the offensive primal is decent, but the defensive primal just leans you further into defensive spawn advantages. You get two primals, but Architect has duplicate as well, and so, again, the longer this takes, the more resource Spark can prove.
Yeah, I mean, Bernard currently leading in that ult charge as well for the Graviton Surge. I mean, defenders, Zarya advantage, can poke out, build that up, try to generate some additional energy. And out onto Rio. Bubbling him forward. Now, spots out Shy. He says, yep, that's the guy I gotta kill. The bomb does get let loose over onto the point, but he does manage to get the assassination here onto the enemy Ashe. Goes around the back of the tomb, but has to leap out. So much damage being pushed forward. In the meantime, Architect has gone ahead, got the duplicate out onto Krong. Throws down that grab, just further slowing up the charge. Trying to keep them off the point. Rally rolling for Mondu.
Second grab.
Extra grab now coming in. Bernard using his own, and every twisted turn, they just cannot get to the point. Bionade on top of it with the sticky bombs, and nobody stood a chance. It melted through everybody like a hot knife through butter. And it's 1 minute 30 seconds remaining now for the Charge.
Yeah, just too many ultimates. The Charge had to, go through so many of Spark's ultimates to get any distance there, and any distance would be currently none. Haven't really touched the point, but that's also important. They need to bleed through as many ultimates from Spark as possible, so most of them are gone. We're looking towards Rally and Primal obviously still being up for Gushue. It's Krong's turn to get this Graviton surging. Krong plus a grenade from Kari will do it. That plus, Choice of One eventually getting his own duplicate would be hard to play with, but this is what we're talking about. Time and time again, Shy opening up like that completely ruins the timing.
Yep. It's 15-20 seconds bought now. It's a bubble from Krong, has to be popped.
Could be more, it is.
Pushing all the way in the back. Yeah, Grip, he gets taken out. Huge play. Gushue does get punished, but obviously he's got the spawn advantage, so I don't think they're too concerned about this one right now. They're still waiting for Kariv to respawn, so it's basically like Gushue didn't give up anything. Obviously, a little bit of ult charge going to be gained by some of the members here on the side of the Charge, but overall, that's going to be a very big net positive.
And this is what we saw yesterday when Hangzhou played against Shanghai, where Shy were just finding these picks out of nowhere. Flater was constantly dead. Shy would just get these picks and completely turn fights around 6v5. It ruins the timing of pushes. You're starting to see the rotation coming through from Charge here. They want to go through Dark. They'll be on the left side in a bit of a hot second. They need to get this grab going. IDK might even want to pre-rally about now.
Still holding it here for the time being. Nano boost used. Jump comes in for Rio. Doesn't yet have that primal. It doesn't have too many targets. We'll start zapping away here onto IDK. Rio has to jump back out onto the left side, get himself into the catacombs, try to stay safe. Architect now has a duplicate. See Choice A1 taking the Zarya. Architect going to be opting in for the Winston. Dives in. So much cleave damage being pushed up, but he cannot get the primal range off. Could that be a turn of the fight? That being said, Rio eliminated. Kariv gone, Kwong gone, one after the other. They will all bleed away on the point. And this will be a very nice hold on point B, surrendering 0% over to the Charge, the Spark. They pull it off nicely.
And no grab from Krong, sadly. Wasn't able to find it. Nothing there. Got slept. Fight was over. Wakes up. Whole team's dead anyway. A little bit of a disappointing final attack coming through from the Charge where, you know, they will eventually get A after a bit of time was split off. And, you know, it comes down to successfully getting IDK down. I think that would have been different if IDK doesn't die on the Mercy. You know, you think about a situation where you let Architect respawn, IDK doesn't go for the res, doesn't get punished, and Spark maybe hold even further on towards A. It ends up not mattering because Spark completed a hold on B, no progress made at all. And a lot of this comes down to Charge being slow to start with, and then on top of that, Spark getting extra ultimates. And if that wasn't enough, Shy is just annihilating everybody. Though that, I think that one kill to, I think it was Rio, which then snowballed onto a kill to Kariv as well, burning 20+ seconds. It's not just the time loss, Achilles, it's also taking the tempo away from Charge when, at that point, it's the perfect time for Charge to go. That's when they want to fight. And if you remove 20 seconds, you allow Spark to then build up more ultimates and put themselves in a better position to win. When the timing is completely off for Charge, it's just ruined. The entire push is ruined. So this is why you're probably not seeing Gods B, you know, starting anymore, because Shy is doing this like consistently, map after map after map, match after match.
Yeah, it's just scary. It's like one of the best Ashe players that we have in the league right now. This is, you know, what he's able to display on a team that otherwise has struggled so far at the start of the season. So if the Hangzhou Spark continue to develop and, you know, maybe even just close out this set in a one-sided fashion, who knows where he's going to end up ranking, getting ranked rather, by the end of this whole 2021 split.
I mean, it's not even just about the stats. I mean, he had great stats. I mean, I looked at those on King's Road yesterday, but it's the impact, the timing. It's just the fact that he'll find that one pick for you when the enemy team can leech the fall to have a pick going wrong. So it's just Shy getting this extreme high-impact kill exactly when Spark needed. Now, I mean, I guess a red carpet should be rolled out here. They know what the target is. One tick on B is all they require to get a 2-0 lead. Spark already off to, you know, a great start on, I would say, both maps here. Obviously, they won the previous one. Shy going down, though, so Kaylee gets a bit of revenge.
Yeah, a nice little boon there, but IDK obviously still playing on the Mercy yet again, so it does get the res off, brings him back into the fight. Shy not going to be losing too much pace as far as the Ashe Charge is concerned. Kaylee just with a slight little lead over him for now.
Nano boost is ready to deploy.
Nano chip damage. He's being pushed out here. Yeah, Nano available. Bernard falling low. I mean, MCD, he does not want to have to use this on the Zarya. Just pull back a little bit. Let's try to save this. Speaking of Nanos, Kariv going to be using his. Goes on to Rio. Sleep Dart is there from MCD. Nano now going to be used onto Bernard as he hits 100 energy. They almost get the kill, but Architect is there for the alley-oop. Gets him with the sticky bombs in the end. Bernard keeping everybody contained over on this right side of the point. Throws out the grab. That's going to be the go button now for Guangzhou. Comes diving in, just cleaving them all down. And that is it for point A. They break them down. Rio, the only one alive at the moment, cannot get back over this point. Even if he wanted to, he would not. So,
and I gotta say as well, I mean, MCD I think would have preferred to actually put the Nano to Guangzhou despite the high charge of Bernard, because Guangzhou dies, and you don't want that to happen. You don't want to have your Winston going down. But it's a combination of MCD hitting an insanely good sleep dart into Rio, preventing Rio from doing much more with a Nano or even a Primal. Doesn't get the Primal. Guangzhou dies, gets res, and Bernard having high energy, then converting that into, you know, a Nano plus a grab into a fight win. Can the double camp happen? There's a lot of ultimates on both sides, both the DPSs on both teams have them. The big difference will be Krong on the grab, and unlike the attack for Charge, we do need to see Krong use this grab quite effectively.
Yeah, it's got to be big. He's got to generate some energy here. As they look to poke and prod and stave them off here at the beginning. Shy going to jump back as the Bionade does connect. Keeps himself safe. Bob going to be sent down over onto the point. Starting the contest. Jumping out into the back as IDK goes up into the sky with the Valkyrie. Rio causing a bit of chaos here with the Primal. Just trying to keep everybody cut off from each other. Trying to block out some of these healers. Bob for Bob. It's going to be traded out. Architect goes in. Duplicate going to be used. Copies Rio. Gets that Primal Rage up. They want already eliminated. They're looking for Rio on the backside. They managed to find him, and that could just be it right here. One tick is all that they need. Krong, he's used the grab. It doesn't lead to any kills, though. He's still quite low energy. 6C is not going to cut it when you have to cut through an entire enemy team. Dynamite over the top. Won't even need to connect. They have the point. They dominate the map. Hangzhou Spark move up 2-0 in the series.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at that attack as well, there were so many more ultimates. Well, I say so many more. There was a reasonable amount of more ultimates coming online for the Spark. Then on the side of, you know, the Guangzhou Charge, the one big advantage that they didn't have was actually the grab from Krong. You can see his face right here. He's probably not too pleased about that performance. And I'm not going to say it's his fault. It's definitely not the grab or nothing else, because you saw everything else come in. Rio tried to dive in. Both teams used the Bob as well. Both teams used the duplicate. But when the dust settles and there's only like one thing left, and Shy's kind of fragging for free, there's just no pressure. IDK still getting free heals. I think IDK even got a kill there. And it comes down to a grab, a solo grab onto Gushe, who was primaling. That's not going to really help out the Charge. So Charge, they got to figure something out.
Yeah, and they need to do it very fast. Backs against the wall, need to pull off a reverse sweep right now. I mean, you know, to remind everybody, they need to win this series and then have Shanghai lose the next one if they want to take that 4th spot. But it's not looking good at the moment. Down at 0-2 against the Spark, who have a major resurgence after their loss yesterday. We'll see if they can close it out cleanly or if the Charge can extend this series when we come back from the break.
You're powered up. Get in there.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by T-Mobile, America's largest and fastest 5G network. Set your sights on the competition with T-Mobile.
And we are back, and yet again, seems like we're going to be speeding through a series unless the Guangzhou Charge can turn this around in a major way. At the moment, down 0-2 in the series. Hangzhou Spark, they come out, and they look damn good. Shy, again, whether it's on the Tracer, like we saw from him on Oasis at the start of this, or back over onto the Ashe, he's getting these wonderful, these 2-tap kills onto Michaeli, you know, as he's grappling away as a Widowmaker. He's just wrecking people, offsetting the pace and these pushes from the side of the Guangzhou Charge. It's a great team effort overall. Everybody right now for the Spark looks incredibly leveled up, and this is a terrifying prospect for Guangzhou, who need to reverse sweep this.
And just as a reminder, as well, you looked at Guangzhou, we're thinking, you know, are Guangzhou making a bit of a comeback here? Everyone's saying, oh, they're like bottom 2 APAC right now. They beat the LA Valiant 3-0 nights, and we're thinking this could be good for the Charge. But that was them beating LA Valiant, who are looking really weak right now. It's a good start, but Guangzhou Charge need to be taking down, you know, the Hangzhou Spark here, who at 0-3. Hangzhou haven't won a single match. They're looking like they will today. It's 2-0, and that last Temple of Anubis match was very, very, you know, I would say almost one-sided for the Hangzhou Spark outside of a few key moments for the Charge there. And like you mentioned as well, Shy is once again popping up for me. Shy is once again looking like that player for me. Yesterday, we look towards support players. Izuyaki got a player of an MVP. If Spark win, I'm looking towards Shy for sure. Shy is honestly deserving of MVP yesterday. If Spark won yesterday, happily give that MVP over to Shy. Just a phenomenal performance. And he's outperforming both Eileen and also May Melee. So let's go into the discussion of Chinese DPS players. I mean, Shy's at the top of the list right now.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Absolutely. I mean, Shy is looking like, you know, he's going to have the same effect as the likes of Carpe, and I would say maybe even more so Prophet, where they come in, they have a good series, and you're just like, you just have to give them the player of the match. You know, there's nobody else. Their performance is so damn impressive that they just have to be the one that takes it away. But we'll see if that carries forward here. We are going to be heading into Blizzard World, so still going to be a very Ash-friendly map. So something tells me he's going to be sticking through with it. Otherwise, maybe the Tracer, you know, again, from time to time. But we'll see what they're going to piece together. Either way, Guangzhou Charge backs against the wall. They're going to be bringing Eileen back in, May back on the bench. See if this is going to be good enough for them to get across a single finish line to be able to pick up a map here and extend us into a fourth map to try to pull off this reverse sweep, because the pressure is certainly up. You don't want to go out like this, you know, here in this set.
Certainly not, because, you know, at that stage, all it proves is kind of Guangzhou Charge have the capability to beat the LA Valiant, but not really anyone else. And maybe the early signs were there, Achilles, because we saw Hangzhou Spark last night up against Shanghai Dragons. They got those two maps in, you know, really impressive fashion. And people saying, oh, you know, maybe that's because Shanghai sucks. Well, maybe Shanghai's good, but Hangzhou just have the capability to beat Shanghai. Maybe Hangzhou, at their best, can certainly do that. And now we are seeing that Hangzhou Spark, the same Hangzhou Spark where they were able to find their victories, come up against a team like the Guangzhou Charge. And you're starting to see the diff now where Hangzhou from yesterday, I mean, that was the kind of early warning signs that were present to show just how Spark could be.
Oh. Looking for the initial pop shot there. Just be swapping it back up. Architect's looking around the back at the moment. Going to be looking for some sort of assassination attempt. See if he can find it. He's taking his time. Sees where the Brigida is at. Wants to get onto Karib. Decent amount of headshots coming through, but it's actually going to be MCD. The wrong Ana is showing up in the kill feed based on what you just saw. They cannot get the alley-oop. No one else able to push some damage in to confirm that kill onto Karib. So manages to live to fight another day. Ryu, in the meantime, does die, so front line going to be broken down just a little bit for the side of the Guangzhou Charge, but they return fire. They find Bernard, and it seems like Guangzhou should be able to get a very fast cap onto A.
Yeah, and that comes through from getting the kill to MCD most importantly, so the nano timing is going to be off, and what do you know, Achilles? I think maybe one of the few times, possibly the first time in this series so far, both teams playing pretty much an exact perfect mirror here, so, you know, prepare for bubble and make a double.
Yeah, well, it's a really solid start. Good opening picks. Cannot afford to lose MCD like that, so just kind of spirals out of control from there. Nice, getting that left side exit. The Dynamite, not going to be able to find anything. Everybody, for the most part, is going to be playing through the main gateway. Getting this cart rolling. It's a very strong start. Great time bank here to begin.
If you're wondering why Karib hasn't used a nano yet, it's because, you know, there's no priority for Guangzhou to go early. It's actually Hangzhou that needs to attack, which is they're doing now. When I say attack, I mean defend the payload. So you do have Goose Ray just kind of showing some presence. MCD's built up with nano now. When MCD nanos, I expect Karib to respond.
So he wants to get a little bit of damage. We'll go ahead, use the recall, but he's got a really nice back angle there onto Goose Ray. Doesn't manage to go forward to get that pulse bomb down. Just holds on to it for a little bit longer at least. Great sleep from Karib, instantly shutting down the bomb. Be damn sure that nobody's going to be waking that one up, so it does eventually come out of his slumber, but everybody's playing out of sight lines. So will not be able to get too much damage through, but it buys him a little bit of time and gets him off the cart for now.
Well, now you do need to see Charge go. Like I said, priority was in, you know, Hangzhou's side of things, and they having to go first. But now Charge have to go first because they've lost control of payload. They're not pushing anymore. In order for Charge to push, they need to take some more high ground. Look how deep Gushway is. Primal.
Oh.
Karib's dead.
Yeah, that's a Bionade in on top of it now. Both support's going to be out of the fight as Gushway just goes in. Really great. Leaving everybody down, knocking them around. Picks up the kills, and that's going to be cart control firmly in the hands of the Hangzhou Spark for now. 4 ultimates still online for them, but it's about to be versus 6 for Charge, so we'll see how many Charge needs to commit to this to break through these defenses.
And it looked really passive from Charge, but that was the correct decision to go through early on where you're free pushing, you've just capped A, you don't want to be pulling the trigger too fast, you want to make sure you can focus on the payload pushing first and then slowly rotate into taking high ground or at least forcing the Spark to come into you, which is why I said MCD probably has to pull the trigger early in the Nano and then Kareem would follow. Eventually, if Charge aren't going to do anything and Gucci starts impacting the payload, he probably doesn't even really want to primal, he sees the right positioning. Like I said, Rio's even low now, that's what Rio's primal used, and Charge haven't really taken much positioning off the back, but they're still looking to find an ability to push the payload again. They need to jump up, and here's the Nano finally.
Almost got the kill on Architect, but yeah, the Nano finally does come down. Obviously, the Primal already having been used. Rally's going to come out from IDK. Mondo still holding on to one of his own. Nano now expiring. Cart inches forward just a little bit, but the Charge, they don't have control of this cart yet. They're just kind of skirting around the outsides of it. Used by MCD, goes on the good way. Good pulse bomb. Choice One gets himself into the back. Does manage to find MCD, but Rio's going to be taken down in the meantime. Shy finding that shot. Grab for grab. One on the high ground, one on the low ground, but Architect comes in huge with a double pulse bomb kill. Bob chunking down Krong, finds the shots. And that is still going to be the cart sitting stagnant, rolling backwards towards the starting point here for the side of the Charge. They have not been able to make much progress.
You know, the problem here is Rio already used the Primal. He used the Primal early, I'm not too sure why. I barely caught it. It certainly didn't really impact the game. What needs to happen is two things, one of two things, probably both here, is that Kareem needs to put the Nano onto Rio before the Primal's used, and then Rio on the high ground playing Disruption eventually pops Primal, knocks Spark onto the floor, and then Charge can engage Spark on the ground, on the payload, and get a team fight started that way. Failing that play, which is actually what happened, you need to see Charge actually rotating on the stairs, onto the high ground, and forcing a fight on the high ground. It's another 5v6. The Nano's been popped, and you better hope Rio can get a kill.
And that's going to be the sleep charge just to shut it down. MCD doing his best Kareem impersonation. It's a great sleep, nullifying that Nano. Now playing forward. Architect looking to build up for another pulse bomb. IDK Gucci pushing forward with this Primal, looking to get the corner here onto the Ana, onto this Brigida. They haven't been able to net those kills quite yet, but now that they layer in a Bionade on top of it all, they will be able to find him. Cart inches forward a little bit as they look for a cheeky little back cap. They make it within 3 meters. But this get halted again, and this is looking like final fight territory now for the side of the Charge. Bob's going to be used. I think committing that one. I think he was fearful because he thought he was going to go down, so he wanted to throw out the bomb. Either way, Rio goes in with the Primal, does manage to find MCD. Nano gets let loose onto Gucci before he falls. Rally armoring up the rest of the team here for the side of the Spark.
We'll see more. Shy goes down. No, Bob. That's actually huge. Choice Away finds a very important kill here. MCD is still coming back from spawn, so that's the big carrier Spark gone. Architect needs to hold on. Gucci's still alive here with Bernard, so maybe it's still possible, but this is where Charge have finally found presence in this fight. They convert further though.
Stun onto Rio. They force him to leap away. The bomb now coming out from Shy. Try to play onto the card. Pulse bomb from Architect, not going to be able to find anything, and Bernard's going to be taken down in the meantime. Still going to be 31% away from that next grab, whereas Krong is just 8 out now. Architect falling, and it seems like the Charge should be able to push this over the edge. They just have to clear the card. Gushway desperately would love to have that Primal Rage online, but he's still a bit a ways away from it. Drops back down. They cannot keep him sustained, so he will fall. The grab for the cherry on top here for the Charge will allow them to push forward and get a second lease on life as they get a minute and a half added into the time bank for the final stretch of Blizzard World.
Yeah, really important for Spark that if they were going to lose their fight, you can see them testing the waters. If Goose Ray gets the Primal, we can build their own grab. It should be fine. You know, maybe Krong's then force it to at least grab Goose Ray or something. But they will burn the grab from Krong regardless, which is going to give Bernard, which is Spark a bit of an advantage to play with. And it comes down to the fact that Choice A1 opens the kill to Shy. That's the most important frag for me, because apart from that, it was looking very even. Shy could play for the Bob whenever he wants to, but if he instantly dies to a pulse bomb and he doesn't Bob, then suddenly tables turn and Charge favors, you know, they start shifting in their favor as well in terms of really getting an advantage in that fight.
Bushwick going in yet again. Anubis not quite available. MCD now has it online. They're falling low, just decides to pull back. The grab, oh no. Well, that's not what you want to see. Grab doesn't really find too much of anything at all for the side of Bernard. And a boost now used, just looking to try to get him built up here. Just get a decent amount of energy in. Bionade out with the help of Bob, and Rio will fall, so they will control the corner at least for the moment. That costs him a few ultimates.
Very scary zoning grabs. It's okay, Burnout. We've seen those before. They still win the fights. You know, miraculously, it's like he can burn a grab for nothing and they'll still win it. How do we move from here? IDK should be looking towards a pre-rally. The Nano will be popped by Karib, and they need to make a lot of space happen off this charge. Need to get a lot of move on off the back of one Nano.
Choice A1 looking for an opening, looking to try to get on top of them and throw in this pulse bomb. Stick comes out onto Eileen. Architect finding a great kill. Done out now onto Rio as he tries to stay alive. Zapping away. They find Mandu in the back line. They burn through Karib as well. No supports left. The pulse bomb finding nothing. The OT will bleed away. This is as good as it's going to get for the side of the Guangzhou Charge, but it's a hell of a lot better than we were thinking for a while there. It looked like they were going to be held at B, but they managed to make it inside of this final stretch. Can't quite get to that last corner, but this is certainly defendable here for the Guangzhou Charge, especially if they play like they did at the beginning here at Blizzard World.
I think there needed to be another, hero moment for Choice A1, and in fact the opposite comes on through. Architect is one that gets the pulse bomb stick and kill. 6v5 going the way of Spark with a Nano on towards Rio is not gonna be able to get too much more done. And a bit more time maybe. You see Krong move over towards the grab. It could be possible to win a fight. They would still, by the way, need to push into overtime, and that's where the pain is, unfortunately for them. And now you see this beautiful combo. Obviously, you just a Kobe in, collect the points, double kill, pulse and grab. Perfect.
Beautifully done. It's a classic combo. It's the beginning of Overwatch time. Good old Big Bang. Well, same setup here for the defense inside of the Guangzhou Charge. Had a very solid start getting those initial picks from the attacker side, so maybe they could do it now with a defender's peak advantage.
Eileen versus Shy. We saw Mike Kaylee versus Shy, and Shy won that one handily outside of the one frag that Kaylee did get onto Shy, which was pretty decent. Did also get raised in. IDK's been favoring a lot of Mercy. Not in this opening comp though. At least not yet. Bubble once again, so Bubble toil and trouble for both teams. TBN, Architect going towards Tracer, as you'd expect. Perfect mirror on both ends, and back over towards damaging Winston's, baiting damage in, getting heals off, and finding the first down.
Dynamite from Shy, not going to connect. Eileen does manage to find his, but has to pull back indoors. Try to stay safe as Gucci. Ton of damage. Getting pushed out as Choice A1. Chased forward to try to get that kill, but it has cost him now. Architect ready on the punch.
Oh,
takes him out. What? Now the DPS duo from the side of the Charge completely broken down. Sleep was there on a Gucci for just a moment. The Bionade from Karib will help take him out. Does get that final blow, but Architect makes him pay for that one in kind. And that's going to be the Spark in onto the point. Just as quickly as we saw from the Charge. The fight's not over yet. They're still going to be able to recontest this.
Well, we'll see if they can. I mean, Korea would need to jump in now ASAP. It's nearly gone. Touch comes through for Choi. Choi's back into action. Eileen should be too far behind, but they're really lacking right now. They need to get more damage done. In fact, Rio's just jumped out.
Yeah, somehow Rio, not the one that goes down. It is going to be Mandu, but the closeout of the point is there all the same for the side of the Spark. Architect into the back line. Does have this pulse online, doesn't want to have to use it. Just going to recall backwards to get that kill onto Karib, but the Dynamite there from Shy will find it. He'll follow up for Eileen. They'll get rid of Krong, sending everybody back into the new spawn room. 5 minutes on the clock here for the side of the Spark. Choice A1 tries to buy some time, tries to get this 1v1 going with IDK, but falls down to 5 HP, and it needs to dip out of here. Maybe he would just go for a hard reset, but he's going to collect some of these health packs and then maybe look for some backline access, but he's already been spotted by Shy.
Actually, I don't think Shy will get this kill just yet, but, wasting one of Shy's time is obviously important. Oh, yeah, that's beautiful. That's dirty, actually. Beautifully disgusting. I mean, on top of that, Goose Race even just going to pop Eileen, so how about it? That first fight we saw, both DPSs from Charge exploded. They got destroyed. And now Shy and Gucci are doing it again. This is just a complete snowball. Charge have not been able to reset.
Yeah, I mean, a good sleep, but instantly woken up there. His Gucci still holds on to the Primal Rage. Sleep starts on cooldown. He knows this, and that's why he's going to be going in. He's looking to get the corner onto somebody. Can't quite get that yet, but he's juggling them forward into the rest of the Spark. Grab does come in. Catching them here on the side. Bionade out onto 2. Mandu going to be gone. That's the rally. Finding not much value. The Bob takes out both of the supports. Strong will find IDK, but Shy gets Choice A1 yet again. And it's 5 minutes, 20 seconds on the clock. I'm a little upset that this isn't a push all the way to the end, because this may well have been a new record in the Overwatch League for Blizzard World if Spark can finish the map.
I know. Shy is doing some real MLG no-scopes currently, man. He's just destroying, you know, Eileen, Choi, everybody. It doesn't matter. Solo push by IDK. And look how far forward the Spark are. They know they can just hold this box of victory. I mean, Charge have to re-attack their own defensible position. And as the grabs came through, I'm a little surprised the pulses didn't follow, but maybe it wasn't required. Shy got the damage done anyway. The Bob picked up a number of kills. Look at Eileen. He's just pressured. Shy's just destroying him.
Yeah, show your head. Shy takes it all. That's the way it works.
Oh my
there
God!
You go. Eileen already gone out of the fight as soon as the bomb gets let loose. Architect cheating around the back as this pulse ready. Rio dead up in front. The bubble collapses. The headshot is there. They put him in the ground 6 feet under. Dynamite around the corner. Doesn't connect on the choice they want. He's trying to go in. He's trying to get this pulse bomb stick, but Shy gets him in the head yet again. Are you joking? That's it. That's the closeout. Give Shy all of the awards, all of the accolades. He is the season MVP. He is the Rookie of the Year. Good Lord. Utter destruction at the hands of this man. There is nothing that he cannot do when he is on Ashe.
I haven't seen a diff this hard since we saw this Shy, which you talked plenty about yesterday, but here it is.
Yeah.
I can't believe this. I can't believe how good Shy is. Imagine this guy. He was on the bench for like, what, 2 matches in Hangzhou. You were like, you know what? Should we maybe put Shy in of Godspeed? Do you think that could be a good idea? Yeah, let's try him out. And now Godspeed will never play again. So, I mean, unfortunate for that, but goodness, Shy is... Wow, I've not seen destruction to this level come through for some time. Like, this is, you know, when was the last time? It was like Decay carrying on Washington to get them through the playoffs. Shy is, by sheer force, is just completely demolishing all competition. And if that wasn't enough, Seth, then you've also got Architect on the Tracer who's getting kills. And then you've got Gooseway who's got a Winston getting stuff done. I mean, I think Spark have definitely found the winning formula. Unfortunately, it does require them to play, you know, Tracer, Ashe, double bubble the entire time, but this is like the best double bubble team I've seen to date currently.
I mean, they did show us a lot more depth today as well. They were running, you know, Architect on the Echo. They had the May coming through, and that also looked very good. It was, you know, above adequate from them playing that, whereas they were struggling a lot versus Shanghai. Granted, Shanghai's going to be a tougher opponent innately compared to the Guangzhou Charge, but it still looked good. They were able to come back into, you know, those team fights, especially in University, where it looked like they were completely out of it. So it's overall just such a stark level up in their performance from yesterday. And you love to see these turnarounds. I mean, we've already been singing him so many praises. Let's just go ahead and get straight into it. Our player of the match is no other than Shy. We'd be absolutely insane to give it to anybody else. This guy, you know, showing us the Tracer here today at the start was absolutely popping off, punishing people at every twist and turn, nailing his 6 with the pulse bomb, and then he goes back over to the Ashe, which we already knew he was damn good at, and he just exceeds all expectations still somehow.
What an insane plan. People out there, stop underrating Chinese players. This is the quality you're missing out on. Like, I can't believe my eyes. Shy has come through so big. I mean, yesterday versus Shanghai, I wanted to give him MVP, but you know, if it wasn't for the fact that Shanghai actually won that match, Shy probably would have been the MVP already. And now he's going to finally get, you know, what he's due. And you're just seeing a complete highlight reel of every single time he diffed somebody on the other team. And that was, it's like a 1v6 diff. No one can touch him. No one can do anything. There was that one time Choi got a pulse bomb stick, and that's like it. And that one time Mike Kelly got, you know, a headshot. But apart from that, it's all Shy.
I mean, this series was like, what, like an hour long? And I feel like we got 48 hours worth of Shy highlight plays that we could just go through somehow. Like, he has bent the laws of space and time and has pulled out more times worth of highlight plays than was actually played in this entire series. It was absolutely, yes, lay it on me. I am so excited for this stat.
Shy, 10,860 damage per 10 as Ashe on Blizzard World. For context, his teammate Architect only 5,500 damage per 10, which is still decent, but like Shy just, he diffed his own teammate. Like Shy's popping off so hard, he's doing 10,000 damage per 10 minutes, and he's just completely blown everybody in the server out of the water.
I mean, over 27,000 damage as Ashe across the series. 8 Bob kills as well, which is, you know, obviously it's not that important of a figure, but it's just
you want to know how many deaths?
See that his Bobs are constantly getting that much value. Yes, how many deaths did he have?
3. So his KD is 55-3. 3 deaths, 55 limbs.
Good Lord. Stone Cold Killer, that man right there on your screens. Absolutely unbelievable performance from him. I mean, man, what a way here for the Spark. I mean, obviously, they can't make it into the tournament here for the May Melee. They are already out of contention, but this is a really high note to go out on for that. I think come June,
every
they're
other
going to be
team's
knocking
like,
on people's
thank
doors.
God they can't make it in.
Yeah, they're going to be knocking on people's doors and say, hello, would you like to hear about our Lord and Savior Shy? Because, man, what a performance from him. We're not done with this series yet. When we come back, we will have a game break to break down that action just a little bit more, so don't go anywhere. We'll be back in a few.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by Xfinity, the preferred internet provider of the Overwatch League.
All right, and we're back. Like I said, short little break. We're here now in our game break presented by Cheese It Grooves to just basically sing more praises to Shy, I guess. I mean, is there something else we could really talk about here, Avril? What do you think?
Shy makes me shy. Yeah, I get my cheeks blush. I start sweating. It's not just because it's hot. Shy makes me feel something. But yeah, no, look, this was a phenomenal performance by the Hangzhou Spark today. And like you said before we went to the break here, Kilos, it wasn't even just a double bubble they were winning on. We saw them win on the Brawl as well. We saw them win with, a single bubble comp, which is, I guess, just the dive here. Winston, Diva, it's pretty old school. Architect coming through onto the Echo with Shy on Tracer. And, I mean, this last fight is the kind of clutch we're looking here, right? Because it actually did look like perhaps Charge were going to have this locked down, especially the second to last fight, but as we start moving through, Kron can't do more on towards the Flux, Rio doesn't get enough on the Shatter, and this fight plus the one previous where IDK got a kill, especially onto Eileen, who was on Deadeye, is the kind of clutch play that you need to see out of a team like Spark to start joining the ranks of the more elite teams and also start winning on compositions that aren't just dive or double bubble, which is great to see. You can see Temple of Anubis here as well. This moment was really important because this is what allows Charge to actually cap A. You see IDK, I think, die here. And because of that death, no, is that the right moment? No, it might be a different moment. In either case, this was a grab. No, never mind. This was a grab moment from Bernard, where obviously Guangzhou got rezzed. Bernard got the grab. He received the nano as well. So now I'm remembering exactly what that moment was. Don't mind what I said earlier. It's the grab from Bernard that catches everyone on Anubis, and a combination of, I think, just seeing the Hangzhou Charge, Hangzhou Spark rather, win on multiple different compositions and multiple different looks, which is a difference to yesterday, which is an improvement. Yeah, very big, and it gives, puts a little bit of egg on our faces because we were saying, double bubble and win, that's about it for the side of the Hangzhou Spark, but they come in, they play around that. Guangzhou has a much better series on the Reinhardt as well, and everybody just kind of leveled up, within 24 hours. So, I mean, good on you to Spark. I can give you nothing but praises for today's series. Absolutely phenomenal. Yeah, I don't know. Like, my brain's empty right now. It's important. Well, that's because you've been headshot by Shy. So everybody on Charge's empty brains right now because they've all been headshot. It's important because Spark can't be this kind of one-trick double bubble team. Eventually, if you want to take down, the Philadelphia Fusions and the Chengdus and the rest of them, you need to show more looks. You need to have more versatility, which they're starting to find. So I'm actually quite excited for the Spark because as we start moving forward, Spark obviously made a roster change in terms of their coaching staff. Now they've made, some changes in terms of Shy being in and Gosby being out. I think they found their 6 players. I think they found their starting lineup. If they just stick with these guys, they're going to find some good success.
Yeah, very, very solid. I mean, literal overnight improvement here from the side of the Hangzhou Spark. But that's going to do it for our game break and our crunch time presented by Cheez-It Grooves. When we come back, we are not done yet. We have the Shanghai Dragons currently getting into the lobby to go up against the NYXL, looking for that final slot in the top 4. We'll see how that series develops when we come back, so do not go anywhere.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by Cheez-It Grooves. So much flavor, it's a mind crunch.
Gaga. Now they look to move forward, but Izzyaki dives up the start of the bomb, crashing through. Bomb over the top, Elsa looking for a pick, and it seems like it should be able to stop him. But that being said, Flutta fights two of the pulse bomb. Both supports. A huge play from him, but is it going to be able to do somber? The window is opened up, and the EMP is huge.
The EMP not only negating the Ant Matrix, but also now the NYXL, they're moving right on the point. They find 3 picks. Flora's down, but it doesn't matter. They still have the advantage.
Swinging. Jude falls first, and it doesn't look like Shanghai wants to give this one up yet.
That's 5v5 right now. Lip, though, plenty of room to work with here on the McCree. Takes down Mondu.
Bernard's out of the mech right now, and the pulse bomb stick onto Jonak. But Yakung coming in with the retaliation. He completely eliminates Kushui Bernard.
Alrighty, and we are back and just about to jump into our final series of the evening. Shanghai Dragons getting ready to go up against the NYXL, and the stakes are quite high for this match still, Avril. Guangzhou Charge obviously not going to be in contention to get into the top 4, but both of these teams still going to be vying for a spot.
And it's pretty simple now. You know, whoever wins gets to go in the top 4. It's that simple. Guangzhou Charge have knocked themselves out of contention. Now, if Guangzhou were able to beat Hangzhou, especially if it was a 3-0, then you'd have a really interesting case where you kind of need to see NYXL step it up even further. But now it's pretty simple. Yep. You win, you go top 4.
Yeah, you know what else is simple? Getting your MMA skin.
Ooh.
It's in the store right now, so go pick it up before it goes away, or else you'll look like a loser because all of your friends have it and you don't. So make sure you grab that before it goes away on May 11th.
There it is. And speaking of Mays as well, I think we're going to be seeing some good May gameplay out of, you know, the specifics of like Ivy on York Excelsior, stuff like that, because New York have shown quite a few different looks. It's going to be a tough game, don't get me wrong, but New York, I think the most important thing is they have the fate in their own hands. They're not relying on another team. You know, it's not like what we saw at the Charge where they would still require New York to win here. New York just have to get it done themselves. It's through their own merit. It's if they lose, it's because of them. You know, at that stage, there's nothing else holding them back. It's so clear now, the pathway into that top 4 into May Melee, and what a storyline it would be as well if Shanghai actually don't make it into the May Melee, our first tournament of the year for the season. Shanghai, that a team that has been really hyped up, really powerful performance from 2020, is, I don't know if you'd say struggling at the start of the season here, certainly not living up to the same expectation or reputation they had previously, but ultimately probably a team you'd expect to be in the top 4, and now that 3 spaces have been taken away, it's like, well, Shanghai, can they still make it in?
Yeah, I mean, you would never, you know, coming into this year, you never really would have anticipated, given the minor changes that have happened for the Shanghai Dragons, that they would be the last team getting qualified in. But yeah, if they don't make it, then that's a huge boon for NYXL with this young and budding roster that's recently come together under the the veteran status of Jonak. Obviously, there's still plenty of players who have been playing for a long time, such as Yakpung and Bianca, as well as Ivy. But it would still be a huge success for them to be able to take this spot away from one of the teams that was in the global top 4 in the 2020 season. Taking a look at Fleta and Ivy on their Tracer per 10, you can see that Fleta, he's got that veteran status and he comes out on top.
Yep, I mean, Tracer so far is going to be a matchup that I think Fleta should have. For what it's worth as well, Flora and Ivy both bring the Tracer to the table. I think if you just look towards the compositions a little bit more in-depth, Ivy's going to be your May guy. He's going to be here for the Echo as well. Flora's going to be playing more of the hard hit scans in terms of the snipers between, McCree and Ash. And so we're looking towards Ivy and Flora to be starting for New York and not really towards Feather or Guangzhou to be playing at all. And Feather and Guangzhou, that 2 players that I think in the preseason kind of at least impressed me. They looked like they were pretty strong, but I know that New York as a team are still trying to work through getting some of those jitters away, because the rookies definitely came into the first week a little bit shaky, and now as we head towards later weeks, could it be the New York Excelsior kind of resurgence? We had a pretty decent match from NYXL versus Seoul, even though it was a 3-0. It was a competitive 3-0, and, as much as that might sound like a bit of a meme, that can still mean something, because now that they've gone past that, can New York have taken those lessons and bring them over to Shanghai to maybe find a win?
I mean, we saw Spark take the lessons from their last 2 series and really utilize them. So maybe New York is going to be capable of the same exact thing. First, though, we will go ahead and take a look at the starting 6 for the Shanghai Dragons, see who they're going to be fielding off the bat, and it's not going to be shocking whatsoever. We will have Fleta and Lip as our DPS duo, and everything else is stock standard.
So no DM to start things out with, and we said this yesterday when Shanghai played against Hangzhou, but it does seem like when DM's on the roster, Shanghai don't quite get the win. I'm not going to say it's a correlation. I'm not too sure exactly what it was. DM also kind of got outperformed by Shy yesterday, but so far everyone else has been as well. Over the New York side of things, kind of already mentioned this one, but there's only a couple substitutions that could be made, and that's in the DPS lines. Feather and Guangzhou starting on the bench. Those are the 2 rookies. Ivy and Flores a little bit more veteran players have been mostly starting out for the New York side, and they'll be starting again.
Alrighty. Well, let's go ahead and take a look. See where we're going to be heading in. It'll be Ilios on control to kick things off, as we already have the players loaded up into the game, so not wasting any time. We'll be jumping straight into the action. Then Anubis, Blizzard World, Dorado, and Lijiang Tower. If this series does deliver and takes us the distance, we had our 5-map set to finish off the night last night, Avril, so why not another one?
Sure, I mean, look, if another team
what
can
else are we
take
gonna
Shanghai to 5, it's like, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I got some NA VODs to catch up on, but it's been a struggle because there's so much Overwatch on right now, and Apex has been plenty busy. And as we head into the first fight, there's going to be Ivy coming through an Echo. Both teams running pretty much the same thing. Lip with the Ash, though, and they do have a Mercy to pocket as well.
Yeah, so we'll be Flora playing it a little bit closer here with that McCree. For the pile drive, good knock away with the coach gun from Lip, denying that damage. Out from Yakpung. Sweta just looks for a target, finds 2 pretty big hitboxes that he wants to try to take out. Get the sticky bombs to connect, however. So we'll just be
I'll say one thing.
a delay.
A little bit weird to see Izuyaki come through on towards the map. That's not normally a part of this composition. You'd be expecting a Zen, maybe a break, just not the Baptiste coming out. So, can we see some healing out? Can we see an early wall, an early window? What we're going to see is an early death of Lee Jae-gong, which is not really good for Shanghai. At least it's responded.
Yeah, it does fall to Fleta. He gets a quick response, gets that beam out, takes down Ivy, so it does make it a 1-for-1, but obviously the healing going to be that much more limited. Going to push him off the top here. Mortality Kill does get used. Bianca on his own, so it's not going to be enough to take that out in any sort of timely fashion, so does just pull back. And like Celt, they establish control of the point to start things off. Sleep Dart on the Izuyaki, just playing forward, but in the meantime, Fate eliminated. Yakpung finding the kill. Now with Fleta falling, it's a very good look at the start of the map here for New York.
Certainly, and they had the 30% go their way as well, so it gets better from here, right? Because they win the fight kind of late while the teams were skirmishing, and they had that cap going for them, which means they get even more percentage. Izuyaki's did he even use the window there? I'm not too sure, but he's reset his entire ultimate. Lee Jae-gong's finally back. And, this is where Fleta has at least a minor advantage coming through on the ultimates. Bob's going to come into contest.
It does. We're going to push him off the high ground. Minefield also going to be used by Yakpung. Rolls back over. They do force the Immortality Field out. Now the self-destruct finds Fleta. Good pick off here from Bianca, and it's a fantastic start here for New York. I know I just said it, but it just keeps getting better and better as time goes on. Fate now waiting to respawn. And Shanghai, they need to do something very quickly here. 70% of the board currently for NYXL. Jonek's still going to be holding on to this Nano. They nearly have a rally, a zoning, Deadeye potentially there as well, just to buy extra time and try to get up to 99%, if not, get some kills.
By the way, I think one of the better targets for Nano is actually on towards Ivy's Echo. Yeah, we've seen Jonek put the Nano to Bianca previously. And also, if you put onto Ivy, you can suddenly have the damage output, contest Fleta really well, and Fire Nade landing on the Void as well. That's an early Mortality Field force.
But shove him back. Immortality Field does not last very long, as Bianca was the recipient of that Nano. Lip already going to be eliminated. Ivy does get knocked out of the duplicate. Fleta finds the finish onto him. Bianca pulling back, trying to stay alive. Fleta goes for the duplicate. Being Flora, picking up the McCree, who has since taken out Fate. Deadeye used. Everybody's zoned back by that self-destruct, but Shanghai Dragons, they need to get control of this card right now. Fleta building up another Deadeye, canceling that one instantly. Now looking for the kill to try to take out Jonek. It's quite a bit of damage in on him. Void will be able to come in and scoop up the final blow. The flip does come in. Shanghai Dragons not going to be going out without a fight. They get the flip, but how long can they hold it is now the question.
Not too sure where Nano came from in terms of Jonek, where he put it on. I assume probably Ivy. Ivy actually duplicates over towards the BAP that Iziaki was playing, which is a really strange pick from Ivy. I would have assumed, copying over onto almost anything else could have been better. Now I'm going to finally drop that with Shanghai coming through, losing left. They need to raise this one if possible. Should be raising it.
It was Nano onto Bianca. He went to the standard target for himself, but an opening dig as they push forward, forcing Izayaki back up on these guys right now. Sleep take on with the Valkyrie and Matrix available for Izayaki. They can get into a position to actually utilize this right now. Fleta so far back. Void knocked out of the back. Fate with no HP. Izayaki now going to be dead. They're not going to find any value here. As Flora just fans the hammer, burning down the bomb. Deadeye trying to get the catch on the Lee J. Gone. He will not find it. Yakpung does. Get the pile driver up. Yakpung has the finish onto Fleta. The flip's back in at 99%. The pile driver interrupted in mid-air. And that will be the first round taken by New York in pretty concise fashion.
And now I still have to look back towards Shanghai's comp overall, and it's still just a little bit confusing for me. The map doesn't make a lot of sense here. Izayaki goes towards the Ana, towards the end, and I'm thinking that's definitely going to be much better. I would have even preferred the Zen. And if you question the Zen, I mean, there's not a ton of backline pressure outside the fact that Yakpung can die, but it's not like we were seeing traces on that map or anything. So I'm just a little confused by the back, but we'll move over towards Lighthouse now, where Jonek's now coming through the BAP. Is that going to be real? We'll see. Could still be a couple of options here available. I'm expecting Echoes to come into play. Both teams looking like they really want to lean to Echo plus Ashe at the same time. I think J-Gun will be speeding and then possibly change the Mercy.
All right, well, zipping forward. See Ivy match with the Echo. It's going to be fairly evenly matched up here with Jonek moving over to the Baptiste and Izayaki back over onto his Zenyatta. That was a really big boon for them yesterday, at least in his own damage figures, but already Flora, both supports gone, gets the headshot onto the Zen. Void broken out of the mech, and this is a catastrophic start as the point unlocks, and NYXL will get dominance first here. Locking this one down. Izayaki just going to go straight back over onto the Ana now.
Yeah, I mean, Lip dies. Lee Jae-gon goes over towards the res. The angle's been held by Flora, who gets even more. And they just punish the Mercy from there. It's all over. It doesn't even matter if you res Lip. It's another early neutral one by the side of York Excel, and they'll continue it. I mean, Fate's down as well, so there's not going to be a res. Lee Jae-gon just use it. You probably just want to wait for Fate to respawn anyway. He's pretty quick. Decent trade. And now as Fate rolls in, they might have to pressure the 6v5.
They have a slight little window to work with here before Yakpung is back up. You can see they're still quite a little ways away from the point. Void's going to start inching forward. Flora gets the headshot on the Lip. Rez comes out, so already putting that one right back on a cooldown. They get the jump in, however. Fleta up over the top has the beam. They get rid of two members here as Bianca will lose out of the mech. And it seems like this time around, Shanghai get themselves onto the point and should be able to get this cap going significantly faster than we saw on Well. Finishes there on to Friday. Ivy somewhere, bio-nated. Low does get finished off here by Void in the end. Flip comes in, and it's just 46% on the board so far for New York, so decent timing here from the side of Shanghai.
And they finally shut down Flora as well, because otherwise, so far in this kind of Ashe versus Ashe, Flora has won every single time. Like, we've yet to really see Lib shut down Flora, and he needed Flatter to come on in with the focusing beam, dropping the damage via Voids, micro missiles as well, getting that off angle. And 20%.
Oh.
At least they will have Jonak down. Jonak does get a window first, and maybe they can still use that.
Yeah, windows out, but the risk gets used, and now they can't bring Ivy back into the fight. Flutter capitalizing, comes in from behind, gets some decent sticky bombs in on a Flora. Not enough to get a kill, however. Doesn't want to over-aggress. Ball's low for the pocket. Healing is there from Lee Jae Gon. Top him back up. Bob going to be sent out onto the point. Minefield as well, layered in. Bobby Bob duel right around the corner here as they look to try to get Void out of this mech. Haven't been able to make it happen yet, though. And this is Shanghai taking a lead as far as that percentage on the point is concerned. Ivy now gone, floor so low, so back. Still getting chunked out as well as Fate plays up top. Almost gets punished for his efforts, but will manage to roll out the safety for now.
Late res onto Ivy. Void's got Friday down, though. This is what we're talking about. When you get these kills, you bait the Mercy reses, you can get the Mercy down, and finally Shanghai can find a lot more advantages here. That's both supports gone. Shanghai should win this one without too much trouble.
Self-destruct thrown out there from Ivy. Matched by Fleta. Neither going to be finding any kills, but Lip getting a cheeky coach gun shot onto Yakpung, sends him off the side of the map. And this is looking like a major total swing here for Shanghai Dragons. Utter dominance right now, still with a plethora of ultimates to work with. Self-destruct is on them off the point, the Valkyrie, the Nano, and nearly another Bob. And YXL, they need to turn around and fight right now if they want to take this 2-0.
Jonak's got to sleep onto Lip, so that's good. Lip will be delayed in terms of finding this Bob. Lip's actually got a lot of value. So far on the Ash, Bob's come through. Flynn got the kills.
Yeah, two swift turnarounds there as Flooded does go down. They find Jonak, they find Friday. There's no supports in the fight now from the side of NYXL. Self-destruct going to be used by Bianca. He does manage to make it back in, but Liv gets another Coach Gun knockoff onto Yakpung, sending him off the side of the map. Just playing around those grapple timings, making sure that he cannot recover. And with the cleanup onto Ivy, the delay tactics are eliminated, and it's 146% here, and Shanghai Dragons will extend us into a third and final round on Ilios. We'll be jumping into Ruins now to determine who will be starting off this series 1-0.
And I hate to be basic here, Achilleos, but it just seems like the team that's running the Batiste right now is, you know, they are eventually losing, and eventually you're seeing that play move over towards Anna. That was Isiaki on Well. And then eventually he's like, you know what, go back to Anna. It was Jonak on Lighthouse. He's like, you know what, go back to Anna. And eventually they do go back towards Anna, but that opening path to me is still really confusing. I'm trying to work it out in my head. Is it because they... Okay, that's an unfortunate like for it. Unlucky. Misses the wall. I'm thinking, is it because they want to, you know, have their Ashes play off the windows? They're trying to pocket their Ashes even harder with the Immortality fields? Like, what could it be? Whatever it is, I just feel like the Anna should just be better at the end of the day. So as we move forward, we're not going to see that again, but we are going to see the ball gameplay. We're going to see Liv coming through towards the bottom floor, staying on the Ash.
See what Lip can get done. Checking all these flank angles, giving some protection to Izayaki. Now just looking for a head to click on. Or starting to cheat forward over towards where he was just spotting out. In the meantime, Yakpung with that Discord orb up, just trying to stay alive. Just managed to grab the Mega Pack, but Fleta is just farming this Pulse Bomb off of him. They get the stun. Yeah, Lee Jae Gon finding the final blow there with the whip shot. Gets the punish. Now they dive in on the Jonak, getting the elimination. So this is going to be a very nice really one fight. As I say that, though, Ivy looking to turn the tides, manages to find both supports. Pulse Bomb lobbed down, doesn't get the stick, but Bianca still well within the blast radius, does get eliminated. Cleanup is there, Flutter takes out Ivy, and that is going to be the cap coming in for the side of the Shanghai Dragons. Only 12% netted here for NYXL.
Carry performance by Flater there as well, so even losing both supports to Ivy, while Flater will still get the kills required early. Pulse Bomb, obviously. The kill to Yakpung really kind of just sets the tempo. Kind of herds Yakpung towards Lee Jae Gon. Stun into a whip shot. It's enough. And now New York aren't going to be the team that starts with the advantage of the neutral. So for the first neutral fight win, we'll go finding the way of Shanghai.
Looking to get on the Jonak right now. Just forward orb out onto him, but cannot get the finish. Trying to keeping him topped up. Fate going to be gone. Ivy finding the kill. Pulse Bomb available if he can get himself into the back line or maybe on top of somebody like Lib. Just playing around the flanks here. Looking for some shots. Rally out from Friday. Offering up, or armoring up rather, he and Bianca. Flux. Void looking for a target. Manages to catch two around the corner but can't weave in any extra damage. In the meantime, Fate will take down Flora. Ivy with the Pulse Bomb. Gets rid of Lee Jae Gon. Bianca follows up, finds Void, hangs on by a thread. No HP remaining
Trance.
for him. As yep, Trance does get popped. Jonak just topping himself and Bianca back up. They look to try to desperately get this split, but it's still going to be a man advantage here for the side of the Shanghai Dragons. They have the faster respawns to get in on top of Bianca, who is without any kind of additional support down on the point. They finish him off. And Jonak, oh yeah, this is not going to happen. Fate from one side, Fleta from the other. They get the kills, and this is starting to really unravel for the side of NYXL.
A problem for New York there as well. They were still down on members. You saw how low HP they were. Jonak is, forced the tempo trenches to get everybody back online. Lip even then still finds a kill on towards, I believe it was Ivy, while the trench was running. And on top of that, Izuyaki's got his own trench, so it's like they counter it. They can play their own. They can stay in the fight. 90% plus. This is looking like it could be a blowout here. It's not quite 100-0, but there's one last shot here. You need to see Bianca pop this watch as well.
Minefield in the back from the Octopus, just trying to block out the ramp here. Jonak gone. Lip gets the headshot. Finally now eliminated. Lip follows up another one. Finds Ivy. This get collapsed on by Yakpung with the damage it's done. It's just the tanks left alive with no support whatsoever. The Discord orbs out from Izuyaki are just going to rip them to shreds. Everybody goes down. It's going to be an extended team kill. And that is going to be the Shanghai Dragons in very convincing fashion, taking Ruins and taking Ilios.
Especially on that last Ruins, I mean, it wasn't convincing to start with. Let's remember, we did see, the beginning when you had well that wasn't quite going the way of Shanghai. You start to see the comeback on this map over towards Lighthouse. But really, Ruins is what made the difference there. I mean, we see Lip coming through on the Widowmaker. Widowmaker versus Ashe. Wasn't a lot of shots coming through from Lip early, but when we started getting towards the end of Ruins, man, Lip started to really come online. And that was with Fleta starting things out on the Tracer so strong.
Yeah, really solid turnaround here from Shanghai. A bit of a rocky start. It was looking good overall, especially Flora with his Ashe. Wonderful performance there at the beginning, clicking heads even through on the Lighthouse. But unfortunately for them, they just get rocked a little bit too hard on Ruins, and they do end up losing this first map. But there's still plenty more that can be played. We'll see if they can tie us up when we come back from the break, so do not go anywhere.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by T-Mobile, America's largest and fastest 5G network. Set your sights on the competition with T-Mobile. And by Indeed, we help people get jobs. The Overwatch League is brought to you by Coca-Cola, the official refreshment of the Overwatch League, and by IBM, the official cloud and AI partner of the Overwatch League.
Alrighty, and we are back. Map 1 out of the way here for our final series of the evening. Shanghai Dragons and NYXL duking it out for a final spot in the top 4. But it is Shanghai Dragons who draw first blood. They take Ilios 2-1. Very close at the beginning, Avril, but in the end, Shanghai Dragons, they just kind of started getting a read for how NYXL was going to be playing this one. It was a little bit messy, a little sloppy from time to time, fairly chaotic, but they persevered, they rose above the chaos, and they closed it out.
And you're starting to see Shanghai now putting the trust into the Lip to play the snipers. I think if the match were reversed, and what I mean by that is if Shanghai were playing New York yesterday on this map for Ilios, you would have probably have seen DM being subbed in over Lip to play, specifically Ashe and also the Widowmaker, whereas now you're seeing Lip just staying in. He's picking up those heroes instead. He's performing on them, and between Lip and Flitter especially on that Echo on Lighthouse actually performed really, really well. You look over towards the Tracer early on, towards Ruins, another great performance. And if we take a look at, in a vacuum where the DPSs are between the two teams, both Flitter and Lip were they're able to get roughly 2,000 more damage done than Ivy and Flora on the other end. But this is the most fun stat I actually have. Easyaki had nearly double Jonak's damage done, and they both had turns on Zen, they both had turns on Bep, they both had turns on the Ana as well. And it's 7,294 damage to 4,027.
I mean, and it does kind of make sense. Jonak, he's playing around with this younger squad of players. He's not, this isn't the NYXL that people knew for 3 seasons. So it is a bit different. So he has to be less self-reliant. He can't really go out on his solo missions and pop off and, just get these multi-kills like he has been able to in the past. He has to do a little bit of extra babysitting. He's got to make sure that he's keeping these front lines alive, especially when you're playing around with the Wrecking Balls as well, because they're going to be zipping all over the place. So you got to make sure that he's, staying on point with these Orbs of Harmony. So it does make sense that Jonak is not going to be as individually impactful in a damage role, even while playing from support, given the season. But, it's just about finding that cohesion, having everything finally coming together, and having the players be a little bit more self-reliant, so Jonak doesn't have to kind of keep them on a leash as much. That's just my initial read on it, I think. But I could be wrong. I don't know the inner workings of the team. I'm not a mind reader, as it turns out.
I can tell you my takeaway. My takeaway from that really is that on the DPSs. Yeah, the Shanghai DPS is out-damaging the New York DPSs, but even then, I would say the secondary damage position, which is the flex support, especially when both teams are playing the Zen, Iziaki is pumping out, at least in that example, a significant amount more. So maybe that needs to come through more. I mean, Jonak, to be fair, Jonak did play the Ana and the BAP as well, but the Iziaki also did play those two. So, both of these flex supports have been across the board today. We'll head into Temple of Anubis and see if that maintains, or maybe, Jonak will have a much better performance this map, at least until keeping up with damage. It does depend on whether he goes Zen or not. Obviously, Zen is where you farm all the damage stats as a flex support. If you're looking over towards the Ana, maybe not so much.
Well, moving into Temple of Anubis yet again. We'll see how they fare. You can see right there on your screen that this is the worst assault map of all time for the Shanghai Dragons as a franchise. See if they can add another win to the board, or if New York can just make it a little bit worse for them. We'll just be seeing the Winston Diva here. Jonak moving back over onto the Ana. Nothing too shocking for this defensive setup.
So no double bubble here, but they are going to have the Diva, which, as we kind of looked at in our previous matchup with Hangzhou Spark playing versus Guangzhou Charge, a little bit more, I would say, resource being put towards Ivy on the Echo here, as opposed to just, lopping it in for Yakpong. We're still looking towards the Nano Boost to be the main win conditions. Is Yaki going to be matching on towards Ana, and the Nano race is on.
Well, around that left side, at least initially. Pulls back over to May. Looks like he's going to be jumping up, grappling on top of the archway. Gets a couple shots in, but Flora selling again here at the start with the Ashe. Does manage to take Fleta out of the sky. Given that there's no mercy, we will not be seeing a res, but Lip comes around, does get that punish. As Bianca presses up, takes out Fate, barely manages to stay into the back.
Really important to get that kill to Fate, by the way, because they really couldn't get the res into Flora until now. I thought maybe they wouldn't be able to at all. And so slowing down Shanghai's attack is pivotal. Because they got that kill, they'll be able to get the res. They can't get the mech back easily, though.
Well, Sleep Dart already burned. Yakpong receiving Banana Boost at the back end of that, but hasn't really been able to inch forward too much. Into the pack goes Fate, gets the punish there onto Bianca, getting rid of the Baby Diva. The Nano now expiring. Ivy uses the duplicate, does manage to copy Void, builds up, has his self-destruct ready to go, but now the front line has been broken down. Bianca just now respawning. Ivy letting the bomb go up over the top, doesn't manage to find anybody, and Jonak in the meantime will fall. Spletta beams him into oblivion. 2.5 minutes remaining. This is going to be Shanghai making their first steps in onto point A, and it seems like they should just be able to take this, barring a miraculous turnaround here from NYXL. Primal's not yet up. Self-destruct is there defensively from Void to try to clear this point. They are going to look for this. Whip shot comes out to try to offset the bomb, still makes its way out onto the point, but Fled with the sticky bombs finds the opening kill, jump up into the air. They try to get rid of Lip. They just force back his position for a little bit, but Ivy's still taking so much damage. Lee Jae-gon will finish him off. Yakpung barely comes out on top, getting rid of the enemy Widowmaker as Jonak takes a sleep, a bio, and a death. Seems like this is going to be the end of it here, as Yakpung is unable to use that Primal.
I think Yakpung at the end of the day knows probably to save it. And if he does use a Primal, that would just be another ultimate given away. Maybe you force a couple more out. They did get the duplicate gone, so in terms of double camp pressure, it's got to be mostly there for Shanghai with 5 ultimates, especially Nano coming online. But losing the duplicate loses some of the longevity and some of the staying power they would have had on B. Copying over towards Winston's is very powerful. Jonok's not that far behind on Nano, so both teams have quite a bit to do here, and both teams can do quite a lot as well.
Oh man, look at the track in there from Lip. Just knowing exactly where Friday's going to be going. Manages to get the shot there, so 2 body shots to finish him off. Primal in the back from Yakpung. Bianca using the self-destruct, does manage to find Lee Jae-gon. Unable to raise the shield, and now with Izayaki out of the fight, that's no supports available here for the side of Shanghai. Yakpung does have to exit, but he's just going to be fueling quite a bit of ult charge back over to Friday here, as he looks to get that next rally online.
Speaking of rallies, yeah, I mean, Lee Jae-gon loses his rally, dies to the self-destruct, and despite the opening kill coming through on towards Friday, they'll be able to play the respawn advantage adequately. Comes back onto a Brigida. And Nano still being unspent by either team. Lip now on towards the Reaper. Flint will stay over towards the Echo, has halfway towards the duplication, and Ivy will find it early. And now this is where the grind begins. I suppose Izayaki can just go towards the Nano fairly early. He's got multiple Nano targets. Even a Nano onto Lip on the Reaper is actually pretty good as well.
Good cover there from Bianca. Keeping Yakpung protected. Nano boost now going to be used onto him. Duplicate there from Ivy. Copies fate to put another Winston into the fight for them. Void almost loses out on the back. Duplicate will get shattered. Floor with the pulse bomb, however, does manage to catch Lip. Seems like he did not have his shift available, so can't go into his Wraith form to try and avoid that damage. Does get picked off. It's just going to be a little bit of time bought now.
I think it's important for Shanghai to not have overspent there as well. You see NYXL using ultimates, Shanghai back out. They're saying, okay, you'll use ultimates, we'll receive them, we'll back and save our own ults. You even have a situation where, Izayaki could have Nano, could have saved Lip, chose not to. They don't mind losing that fight. And here we go, rotation coming on through into Dark. They can make this successful. Nano over towards Fate to rush on through, or maybe Lip as well, like I mentioned. A lot of good targets here, and no Nano from Jonak. In fact, it's just down to the Primal from Yakpung.
All right, Izayaki throws out the Nano, connects onto Lip. They'll leave him on the ground, taking a bit of a nap now. Get the finish in. Well, yeah, Fleta does get eliminated. Bianca finding the kill. So both DPS now going to be gone for the side of Shanghai. It only cost them Ivy on the fight. Overall, not too bad of a trade to get rid of that Nano boost out from Izayaki, allowing Jonak to go ahead and build up another one for the next onslaught. Do manage to get 48.5% here on the board. But other than that, Shanghai they have to pull back and take another crack at this.
Well, now NYXL have actually ultimates to play with. I mean, that was Shanghai's advantage there. I'm a little bit surprised that Fleta doesn't use his ultimate. Like, why hold on to it? Just dives to Bianca, had the opportunity to at least copy Bianca's mech, do something with that. We'll find himself a Winston now, and Nano boost almost available from Izayaki. Izayaki actually just used the Nano, so that's really fast.
Guy out from floor, not going to be able to find too much. Ivy gets the duplicate out onto the Reaper, but does get taken down. Void comes up big. 3 members gone on the side of NYXL on the back of the self-destruct. Ivy finds one in exchange. Does use that Reaper duplicate, but will fall in the end. Floor now desperately trying to swap over onto the Tracer. Yakpung onto the Wrecking Ball. They will touch in onto the point here. The shield comes in, but Lip pops that Death Blossom, manages to knock Bianca out. Whip shot gets the finish onto him. NYXL fighting tooth and nail, trying to stay in onto the point. Still going to be down somebody. They need to get some picks in pretty quickly here, but that's not what they're looking for. Floor falls, that's the closeout on the point, but still not too bad here for NYXL if they can have a strong attack. 1 minute and 14 seconds is all that Shanghai finishes with.
Unfortunately for NYXL as well, 5 alive and a body block onto Friday, so can't quite touch the point, can't continue to bleed that timer down. I'm sure that even if NYXL don't actually win this fight, they could bleed down another 20 seconds, 30 seconds easy, just with how many players are alive. Yeah, Jonak and Friday got blown up, but they come back, they use the nano, they use the rally, and the fight can certainly extend. So here we go. I think this is the self-destruct. It just gets lobbed in, and it's Fleta. Wow, Fleta actually knocks everyone into the skies and opens them all up to the self-destruct.
Just juggling them right into it. Fantastically done from Fleta. Great awareness. I mean, that's exactly where you want to have them anyway, so it was just good coordination alongside Void to make that play happen. That's him, a very nice little explosive pop-up there in the kill feed.
And who knew Fleta's a top-tier Winston? You know, we're discovering these things as we move along Overwatch League today. Just
I knew.
Fleta's got a Winston in the back pocket. Fleta, what else has got Fleta, you know, going on these days? Because that was perfect. That's normally what you would see out of, you know, a well-known Winston player, getting a perfect juggle into a corner, revealing everybody into the self-destruct. And I always think in the back of my mind, you don't normally just see a triple kill on the self-destruct unless, you know, Jonak and Friday and all the rest were just not playing well. Do they just die to it randomly? No, usually it's a setup from somewhere. Just didn't know where the setup was from. And who knew it was actually Fleta on the Primal all along. So that's going to be a cap 114. It's respectable, not the best time you've ever seen, but they'll get it. They'll at least confirm a time bank.
Very nicely done. I guess if Fate ever has an off day or, you know, falls ill, they can always just put Fleta into the main tank role and have him play Winston.
Well, they got enough DPS to cover Fleta, so, you know, maybe.
Yeah. They always say Fleta is the meta. Well, now, out on the attack. Bombs forward on the Fate is Ivy. He's had some pretty decent build times here for his duplicate ultimates. Let's see if he can keep pace with Fleta. So far, it's looking pretty good for even being the attacking, but yeah, I was gonna say the attacking Echo, but the beam comes out and Yakmuk does fall. Jump around the back now, Void gets the pinch in. They just completely have Friday contained in that room. There's nothing that he can do. Does just get taken down, and Fleta is really feeling it. He dives well into the back just in front of the spawn, and comes up with yet another 2 kills.
Yeah, this is problematic because they're still cleaning up right now. There's still no counter trades. Ivy doesn't really want to walk out of spawn, lest he get capped by Lip. And I'm not too sure why Friday and a bunch of other NYXL members were in the side room. Like, they shouldn't be rotating when you're playing this kind of dive composition when Nano is the clear win condition. Lip, what are you? That's too far forward from Lip. He was down to 1 HP and actually dies. That's unreasonable. Or is it? DJ Gong needs to survive, though.
And they do manage to bring it back into the fight. In the meantime, Friday does die. Flora finds Fleta. Gets the duplicate out onto the Winston now as he looks to take the fight over towards the point. Jumps into the back. Need to get this Primal up. Just a little bit more to go. Pops it instantly. Gets the corner here. On to Void. The Sleep Dart comes in. The Baby Diva survives. And he's pistoling his way back into the back. Can he actually get it? The answer is hell yes, he can. Now has that available. Straight back into the fight. Throwing out the rockets.
Fleta's coming.
Damage. Pulls back over to safety. Fleta is coming in, as you say, and he still holds on to this duplicate. Beam out Friday, out of the fight. Nano boost is there onto Yakmuk, has to pop the Primal Rage, but Fleta follows up for another kill. The bomb from Flora, finding Lip. Izayaki going down. It's a messy fight, but one that NYXL certainly still could turn around. Good little corner push here onto Void, gets him out of the mech, denying him any access to the outside world. Maybe that is going to be good enough. It seems like it will, given the tanks are still going to be in the respawn room. NYXL get the cap on A.
Good final sleep dart from Jonak there as well to shut down Fleta's copy over towards the Ash, but what's going on with Lip, man? That death really cost Shanghai the defense. As soon as Lip goes down, you're thinking, oh no, can we res this one? Can we not? They go for the res, but it's an aggressive res. Obviously, Lee Jae-gon has to really die for it, so then Nano as well. Fate goes deep into spawn, and at this point, Shanghai are just, you know, intermixing, brawling hard in the spawn of York Excelsior. That's not really where Shanghai need to be. Trying to take some aggressive space once again. It's Nano over towards Fate, and I think Fate's just got to get out of here.
Yeah, this doesn't really net them much of anything. The timing not really great, and then YXL just kind of dispersing away from the Winston, so he only zaps in, gets maybe, 8 to 10% towards that ult. Flora, great double tap.
Not again.
It's the elimination on the Lib, and obviously, they have swaps, so he's just going to be dead in the meantime. They cannot try to get that res off. Fate barely surviving, and as I say that, will get hounded down. Ivy presses forward, has the beam, also now has the duplicate ready to go. Waiting for an opportunity. Lip on the rejoin, gets a little bit of revenge for himself. Duplicate going to be used there by Ivy, but instantly loses it to the self-destruct out from Void. So now just has to go right back into the sky. Try to get the elimination here on a Fleta, and it is just phenomenal in the back on Sleep. in onto the point, taking this one up. NYXL certainly could still close out this round, this half
Fate no
here,
Primal.
you could say, with a decent time bank. Fate now gone, as you say. Primal Rage unable to be used. Lip falling low. Manages to throw out the bomb. Gets the kill onto Yakpung. Is still alive. Gets topped up as he dips back into the spawn room. Bianca trying to keep people zoned out. As Jonak gets left on, slept, knocked out of the park. And again, blow for blow, traded back and forth here. A bit of a messy fight, but at the end of the day, it's going to be NYXL who have to retreat.
I know, yeah, I mean, looking at this, it's NYXL nearly had a double cap going. They had the one thing coming up through, which is decent. But yeah, losing supports is not going to be good enough. You even had a situation there where the frags were still coming through for New York. I mean, Fate dies. He's at about 80-something%, so no chance to save himself. Iziaki, I think, was at 99 for Nano, so couldn't save Fate either. Ends up not needing it. They get the kill to Jonak, and it will be enough for now. But that was looking pretty tricky. It's another aggressive Nano. I don't know if I really recommend these. With Ivy dead, maybe this time it is actually worth.
Yeah, they have the backup to actually accompany him this time, so it's not just Fate going in all on his lonesome. I'll push him all the way back over to the spawn doors. And it's just fairly brutal here in the end. Void pulled back onto the high ground. Ivy will find a little bit of a return fire kill, but Bianca going down. 3 members still waiting to respawn. There's nothing really that can be done. They can just wait. Flood is back into the fight now.
Yeah. The problem I have with these plays, and that's a cute little sleep dart, it's decent. The problem I have with these plays from Shanghai is the fact that, you know, despite the kill to Ivy, which will buy them another 10 seconds, you are trading resource for no response from New York. So yeah, they win that one. Out of Fate, he walks up and, you know, Flitter and everybody get some kills. It looks pretty good, but this is costing Shanghai ultimates when New York are just banking up. New York already have one tick. So they're banking up to a stage where they have a huge ultimate bank now. They get to start walking in. They just got to get past these Shanghai guys who are still using ultimates. Okay, Primal's going to come through, but Void might get demanded.
I mean, Bianca's going to be knocked out. Self-destruct is going to be used. I mean, honestly, I don't really mind it that much. They did neither remake here from Bianca. That's going to be the Bionade out, finishing off Fleta, but another Bionade from Izayaki clips onto both of these supports yet again. That's twice in a row. The pulse bomb from Lip picks off Jonak. I don't mind them taking the fight this far away because they have to force NYXL to use some of their ultimates just to get over towards the point, just to get over towards this main archway. And then they have that defender spawn advantage to just try to continue to turn the fight. Bob from Flora will find Izayaki, but it's 2 members gone for NYXL, so they have to continuously try to reset. Already the time advantage is going to be there for the side of Shanghai, and that's if NYXL can finish this cap.
And maybe the dust is finally settled here because Fate's finally down, and here we go. Yakpung's going in for an extra kill. DJ God, no rally for now.
All the wake up.
He'll respawn the rally in just a second. This Nano is beautiful. That's no more supports.
The Bionade is enough to help him take him out, rather, but the supports were down. Bianca now pushing forward, finds Flutter in onto the point yet again, looking to get that second tick. Contest now starting to come in. It's Ivy looks to duke it out here with Lip. Slips over onto the opposite side. Rally rolling for Lee Jae-gon, trying to stay alive through that Bionade, but Ivy presses forward, does manage to find the execution. Dive into the back. Jonak going to be eliminated now. 1 for 1 on the supports as Izayaki will fall in the end. Yakpung getting the kill. Ivy dead, Flood with the McCree jumping all over the top, flashbang not gonna
Primal, nice.
Tries to go for the fan, the hammer, but Lip comes in to the rescue. Takes out Friday, the OT is gonna bleed away. Bianca can't get anything with the self-destruct. The finish is gonna be there. It's a great swap for Fleta in the end. Onto the McCree, they get control. They manage to stave them off. NYXL looking to make that OT run at the end, but they just can't quite make it happen. And that's gonna be the Shanghai Dragons moving up 2-0 now in this set.
Game of inches for sure. I mean, Fate towards the end there was like, just basically on 1 health, a couple of percentage points away from collecting the Primal. If he dies without the Primal, NYXL's capability of capping is very high at that stage, but just the Primal coming on through is going to be enough. And when we kind of revisit the aggressive, holding there from Shanghai as well, I think my point would have been that usually what happens when you try and play aggressively on the defense is the defensive team doing that ends up having to spend more ultimates than the other team trying to attack. But in this case, NYXL were finding it so difficult to get out of spawn. They're finding it so difficult to, find spacing again. They had to burn ultimates just to come back in, and then suddenly it becomes worth it for Shanghai. So, yeah, it's this very intricate kind of alt-economy trade that has to happen where you need NYXL to burn ultimates in response for that to be good, and Shanghai got that and they won.
Well, they did. Seems like we might have a couple swaps coming in potentially here for what could be the final map of this series of the evening, as Void is just flailing his arms around. Set them up outside of a
Sneaking
used
some
car
metrics right there.
dealership. It's good advertisement right there. But that's it for the first two maps. Map 3 going to be coming up in just a few minutes. We'll see if NYXL can reply, can put a win on the board, and can keep their hopes alive here of being able to pull off a reverse sweep. Otherwise, Shanghai Dragons looking to take this 3-0. So don't go anywhere, guys. The action continues in just a few minutes.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by T-Mobile, America's largest and fastest 5G network. Set your sights on the competition with T-Mobile. The Overwatch League is brought to you by Pringles. Stay in the game.
Alrighty, welcome back. Well, now backs against the wall. NYXL looking to pull off a reverse sweep here in the series to take down the Shanghai Dragons. But with that map win on Temple of Anubis, Shanghai Dragons have locked their spot in the top 4. So it is settled for the APAC region here at the May Melee. NYXL, they're playing for pride and honor, no longer to make them, make their way into the tournament.
And to explain that a little bit, I know it's probably a little bit disappointing for New York and their fans today, but essentially what's gone on here is, I said earlier that whoever wins gets in, but due to the fact that map differential is going to be how tiebreakers are resolved, even if New York actually win their reverse sweep, they get a 3-2 result, both teams will be sitting at a 2-2 record, and Shanghai have got enough maps that they would still have a higher map record than New York, even if New York can reverse sweep from here. So for New York, it's just about getting the pride. Unfortunately, there's no, like you said, Seth, there's no more opportunity for NYXL to make it to the May Melee, even if they do win. Shanghai, their map record is just certainly too good. So this is why we say every single map really counts. And unfortunately for New York, they have to kind of revisit some of the other losses they had over the course of the qualifiers. There are 3 other matches as well. Could they have done more there? Could they have lost less maps, won more maps? The answer is always going to be yes. And I mean, Shanghai did do that, which is why they've put themselves into a position where they can't lose now, even if they lose.
Yeah. Well, I did mention some changes before the break. We do see Feather coming in for Ivy, as well as DM back in for Lip. And we will be moving to Blizzard World yet again to see if this is where it ends. I mean, do we just get another 3-0 series here at the hands of the Shanghai Dragons, or can NYXL dig deep enough to bring this back from the brink and extend this? Because, I've got nothing else planned this evening, so I'd rather just keep on going. It's only 9 p.m. here in Korea. I know it's 10 o'clock for you over in Aussie land. So I say we just go ahead and push it as far as we can.
Why not? I mean, at this stage, it's just free practice mode now, right? So, get Feather in for a little bit of gameplay. Feather, who has not had a lot of opportunities to play for NYXL, I believe he was there in the opening week for a map or two, maybe just a one map. Feather's been one of those rookies that had some hype behind him. And maybe now an opportunity to live up to some of that hype. He's probably most well known for playing Echo, a lot of those projectile-based heroes. Ivy's been mainly playing the Echo now, so it's time to give Feather a shot to see, for New York in potentially the last map or the last couple of maps here, a few maps, if they can make the reverse sweep happen. Can Feather be their guy?
And we'll find out. See how DM fares as well, because, I mean, Lip's been playing a phenomenal series thus far. Get him some extra time here on the stage, see how DM fares. You can see there, it's not been super great for NYXL in the latter half of their matches versus Shanghai, winning the first 5 and then losing 6 after that. Wrecking Ball's playing forward. Fate immediately out the gate, pushing up, looking to see what they got going on. I think they'll find themselves in a near mirror. Just going to be Lee Jae-gon on this Mercy again Friday, sticking with the Brigida.
And DM coming through on the team as well for the Ash, so it's an opportunity for Shanghai to give DM another run. Like I said earlier, it's starting to look like Shanghai would rather run Lip on these sniper heroes than DM, but you know, since they've already qualified through, why not just give DM another run? Why not see if DM can maybe redeem the performance from yesterday? Give DM a win finally. I don't know if DM has actually won a map so far for Shanghai, but recently, certainly the answer would be 0. It would not be the case, so could it be now? They have high ground going their way. Fate's fairly deep as well.
Oh, a lot of damage out on Bianca. So they look to slowly tick him up. Fate kind of rolling through, kind of botching it a little bit. Doesn't get himself up top, try to displace anybody or get a pile driver in, but off screen, Yakpung takes quite a bit of damage, has to pop his self-shield. Flora, however, will get eliminated. Flora again, continuing to excel, look rather strong with this Ash pick, but playing into this shield, this barrier here, is always quite challenging. Pile driver there from Fate, kind of not too much. It's already 80% nabbed on the point, but Shanghai decided to pull back for just a moment, take a breather, try to get everybody topped up as Izayaki falls quite low.
Valkyrie is going to do that, though. Valkyrie is going to really help out the team at this stage of the game. And for Shanghai, can they find an opening pick here somewhere? Young and the rest of NYXL trying to move up, and they'll lose Jonak, and here it is. This is where the cookie crumbles. No Transcendence, 97%.
Oh man, and it's just an explosion of death and misery for New York. Flora trades one back as Fleta falls, but Discord Orb out of the Yakpung. Makes it that much more difficult for him to do anything. The bomb will also take down Void, but inevitably will fall. Transcendence does get popped by Izayaki, but they'll make their way back over onto the point. Void will get res back into the fight just to get him that much closer. And they will get the cap here onto A. So 4.5 minutes on the clock here for Shanghai Dragons to work with as they get ready to move into the street space.
Izayaki was forced to pop the trance there, so decent counter trades coming through, especially from Flora. Does force the extra ultimate to be used. Uncomfortable from Shanghai, and a price to pay, I think, that New York definitely taxes away, which is important. But when we start looking at this B, normally the defensive team of New York here should have high ground control, but they've completely lost it. Yakpung's gone for a long rotation, wants to challenge the payload, finds himself in 1v1 with Fate and just eating a bunch of damage. It's New York having to challenge for their own high ground position that they've lost.
And that was maybe the saddest thing that I've ever seen. Yakpung just being battered every twist and turn, trying to get on that flank angle. But he finally arrives, he goes with the pile driver and just gets absolutely destroyed. That's now a reset from Bianca and Jonak, and this is just so much space gained for Shanghai.
And think about what we saw from the Guangzhou versus Hangzhou match as well, where, you know, Guangzhou Charge were here, but they had 0 high ground control. Here, Shanghai have everything. They've got the free push onto the payload. They have all high ground, which they took previously. And like you said, Yakpung's going the scenic journey through Blizzard World, seeing what all the rides are, and, well, it takes a bit of a ride back to the spawn room. And it has to be the full retake now. New York have to spend ultimates for this. They're going to get ulted.
Yeah. Pulse is out. Flex from Void will find Bianca. Unable to keep him alive. Jonak does pop that Transcendence, but it's not going to be good enough. Rez coming in for Lee Jae-gon. They cannot stop him. Puts DM back into the fight. Push can continue for the most part. I mean, there's such an ult advantage for the side of NYXL. They need to win out this fight, but Jonak is gone. Now Yakpung dead. We'll get a kill from beyond the grave with the minefield, but it's very widely won here by Shanghai Dragons. They can't quite posture up onto the point yet, as Bianca is still hovering around, but as they break down those shields, put the Discord Orb in onto him, Izayaki will get the kill, and that's going to be point B.
Izayaki's not really been massively challenged here either. I'm looking over towards Death 0. Both Lee Jae-gon and Izayaki have not died yet. You need to see Feather kind of step it up on the flanks. DM takes down Jonak, and Jonak's not had a good performance in terms of just dying to everybody. Friday's gone. Both supports on NYXL spending a lot of time dead here.
Yeah. Many deaths being had right now, shared between Jonak and Friday. Picked off at the end as well, as just DM and Fleta were able to push up so far forward, get that extra little bit of a stagger onto them. Coming up the left side, looking to gain control of this corner. Accretion in. Bob chunked up into the air. They will knock him down. Bob's just going to be traded out. Flux there from Bianca, but takes so much damage. Has to throw out that protective barrier. Fate will get finished off. They need to keep Bianca alive, and they're just unable to do so. So much pressure being applied. The Sigma crumbles. Dynamite out. Finds Feather. Flora finally gets the head of the M, but is it too little too late? He's the only one that's fallen, and Lee Jae-gon has that res as per usual to bring him back into the fight. They spot Yakpung around the back. The Discord Orb that forces him to retreat over towards the spawn where he's nearly killed off.
DM's performing so well here, just putting out a ton of damage, getting a lot of kills. Turns out that when DM's not sniping against the Shy, he's doing excellently. You know, even though Flora managed to find a shot to get him down, Lee Jae-gon with the res is still there. Double ultimates available for the supports coming through from the side of Shanghai, and while the supports in New York, once again, it's Friday dead. Jonak has to do this all on his lonesome. At least the trance is nearly there.
It does almost have that. Might get forced to use it rather soon here. Feather trying to throw in the pulse bomb, doesn't manage to get the stick on the Izayaki, so he will be holding his trance as well. They do not force it out. Valkyrie just going to be chaining those heals through everybody, keeping them topped up as both trances get popped. Duckpoke's still going to be alive, but oh, they flux him off the point. Beautifully done by Void, forcing them off the cart. Had that not happened, who knows which way the fight would have gone, but it's just a really good heads-up play from Void to just force them off the objective and glide it in with 2 minutes and 20 remaining.
Man, I don't know if you love to see it or hate to see it, but that's a moment for sure. I gotta say, right now, Shanghai looking comfortable, more than comfortable. I know people have criticized this Mercy Zen kind of duo on the back line, but understand this: unless the Tracer on the other team is really causing Izayaki a lot of problems, unless Izayaki on the ball or some sort of dive pressure is there to really force Izayaki's hand and make him have a bad game, this greedy backline is 100% effective. Think about this for a second. Neither Lee Jae-gon nor Izayaki's actually died so far this map. Beyond that as well, here's a fun stat for you. Izayaki, once again for this map, I think it's at least been 2 maps. I haven't checked stats for every single map, but here and also on Ilios, it's another support gap. It's another flex support gap, especially in the damage. It's more than double the damage, and both players have been kind of on the Zen here. So now you can't be like, well, there was some outer gameplay here, some back gameplay here. No, it's just been Zen. 3,600 damage versus 1,500 damage from Jonak. It's quite a big difference.
Well, and that's is an attacking Zenyatta as well, so not having those defensive sightlines to really play around, trying to poke out with the right clicks. So it's a very good look for Izayaki. Now NYXL on the attack. Let's see what they can get done. Flora, I mean, he's been fairly consistent as far as finding some opening picks at the starts of these maps. You know, pulls off from there. Let's see if he can do it again. Finding somebody like Lee Jae-gon or Izayaki would be absolutely instrumental for them getting a swift cap on this point A.
You definitely need to see NYXL. You definitely need to see NYXL pressuring the backline a lot. Like I said, neither Lee Jae-gon or Izayaki have actually died yet, so that needs to happen soon. If NYXL want to climb this game, you gotta stop Lee Jae-gon from getting free reses. Some of these reses should be punishable as well. A lot of pocketing over towards DM, and once again, when DM's in and you have Lee Jae-gon pocketing, that's where Shanghai want to find their carry. That's where they want to find the damage, and it's where DM's been doing a lot of it. So NYXL on this rotation have located the high ground, and now we kind of swap sides.
Oh, it's a good dig off the bat. There's the Jonak that we know and love. Takes out the M at range, but Bianca sent off the side by Fade. Be looking for a little bit more here potentially as he continues to play in behind Jonak, but Jonak follows up for a second kill. There you go. Puts Izayaki in the ground at long last, but let's get pushed out. Shot over to the sides, operating by himself for now, but seems like he will be okay for the time being. But needs to get reset into the rest of his team. I don't think that's going to happen. I'm looking at his HP bar. Yeah, Fleta gets on top of him, so that'll be it. Good accretion prediction there from Void. Knows exactly where Flora is going to hit the ground. Gets the kill. The pulse from Fleta finishes off Friday. And so far, you know, that's going to be about half the time bank gone from NYXL, and they really have yet to set foot on this point.
And Void raised as well, so you know, don't have to wait for him to come back through. Short-lived success there for Jonak, who for a time being was reminding Izayaki that Jonak was the regular season MVP in Season 1. So we'll deliver the first death of Izayaki's map so far via the Zen v Zen battle. Transcendence has been found. So 2 minutes, that's exactly halfway like you sort of mentioned. I'm looking towards ultimates. Flux is going to be good, or could it be good?
Drops him back down. The Transcendence will get used by Jonak, but Feather still eliminated. Fleta goes in. Manages to find that kill. Mega Pack picked up by Fate just to keep himself topped up. Now there's going to be a bomb to try and delay Izayaki. He's going to have that second Transcendence available. 5% away from that. And I mean, Bianca doesn't even have the Flux, so who knows? Izayaki, he might not need to use this Transcendence unless somebody like Feather can get on top of him with a Pulse Bomb.
1 minute 30 left. I mean, look, Feather's Pulse Bomb is gone into nowhere. I was going to say into the Void, but Void is never to play. Yeah, Bob's going to come on through for more spacing as well.
DM's not lasting too long. They do have the Bob out onto the point, help them to get the cap coming through. One tick going to be picked up, and Shanghai, they're just playing this one out patiently. They know that they have a little bit of time on their side. They'll start cheating their way into the corners here as Lee Jae-gon just fluttering around with that Valkyrie, keeping himself in the air, but Flora gets a very nice headshot. Maybe that could be the turn. Feather into the back, finds DM. Flutter with a pulse bomb, eliminating Friday, leaving just Jonak on his lonesome now for all of the healing as Iyaki finally pops the Transcendence. We're down below a minute. NYXL need to get this cap. Flora just trying to get the track there. On a Flood is unable to do so. Jonak gone. Feather out of the fight. They drop down. They find Flora. Yakpo discorded. Does manage to take out Izayaki, but it's not long for this world. Whereas Bianca. Seems like Yakpo will be the one who's able to survive. Just goes ahead, races all the way back over towards the spawn, but with 30 seconds remaining, they have to go all the way to the end. NYXL, can they get this cap on the back of a Flux?
Lee Jae-gon importantly comes back with Lucio as well, so is able to heal the team while Izyaki's dead, but more, with the Flux you did mention is quite important, but also Lee Jae-gon's not on his mercy. You're not seeing the best composition now coming through for Shanghai just because the Lucio does exist on the field, so a couple more advantages, plus a trance online for Jonak in just a hot second. This would have to be the fight. This is the best opportunity. Does the Flux miss? I think it did.
Izayaki, dangerous spot. The Dynamite finishes them off. They're currently ticking up over on the point, so they do extend this into overtime. Yakpo playing forward, gets the kill onto Void, just sitting behind him, hammering away with that left click. Lee Jae-gon off the side of the map. Not sure if that was intentional or not, or if it was just a fun little Lee Jae-gon moment. All the same, the fight will be won, and the cap will come through. Hopefully we'll get a replay to see just what exactly happened.
Dude.
But 2 minutes, 20 seconds in the time bank here, as Lee Jae-gon says, okay, you know what, let's go back to Mercy.
You never know with Lee Jae-gon Lucio. That's the thing. It's 50-50, man. Flip a coin. Sometimes it's just a Lee Jae-gon, your adventure moment where he just goes off the map. Sometimes he does the most insane play you've ever seen on Lucio and it goes on Reddit. That's the classic Reddit Lucio there for you. So cap has been confirmed. It wasn't overtime, so it means only 2:30. Fate will go down. That's a good start. And lose Flora.
Yeah, they do lose out on him, and then Void just pushes up, finds Bianca. Card control, wrested away from NYXL. Just about as quickly as they gained it, they lose it. Getting chucked in as it's just absolute meat grinder here in the side room. Friday trying to hold on, but DM presses forward, gets that melee hit to get the finish on him. Feather, unfortunately, with the pulse, not going to be able to find a kill. So now Archway control going to be set up here for Shanghai. Flux is available, and Jonak does not yet have that Transcendence to try to counter it out.
And there's a lot of ultimates coming online, especially for NYXL, but this fight needs to be won from here on out. If there's any hope for NYXL completing the map and maybe extending the series, they would have to probably cap B in overtime, cap C in overtime, basically everything in overtime. They got to get a move on, because that's still a pretty big ask as it is. Fate's quite low, but will survive. And they can't afford to wait around. You see NYXL just kind of chilling right now. If they can't secure high ground, keep this payload moving, I mean, this is going to be done.
45 seconds remaining. Dynamite chunking them out. Flora has to pull back to try to get some healing. Waits for the pack to respawn. Yakpo in the meantime still just swinging around somewhere out there in the distance. Discorded up. Barely manages to make it out to safety. Needs to get topped up.
Taking high ground. Finally.
Rotating their way around. So much to deal with right now from the side of Shanghai. Void goes in, has the Flux, dips around the corner to try to keep himself safe. Get a decent little amount of shielding there by absorbing the Bob's damage. Drops back down. Cart starting to inch forward yet again as we get ready to run down into OT. Dynamite straight down off the ground. Pulse bomb chucked out. Jonak, I almost thought he was going to leap into it for a second, but does manage to avoid the damage as Fate has fallen. So the front line is broken down. GM now going to be gone. They get rid of that hard-hitting artillery player on the side of Shanghai, but the res comes back in, putting DM right back into the fight. Flux is out from Bianca, drops her to the ground, doesn't manage to find any kills. As the Transcendence expired now from Izayaki. Feather and Jonak both have fallen. Flood eliminated by Yakpo, but they need so much more than that if they want to get this into B and get a little bit of extra time in the bank. Bianca finished off, but Izayaki eliminated. They have to stay glued to the card. This is going to start bleeding away very rapidly. It's really just Friday and Yakpo who could play this far forward. Friday is gone. The accretion's done there on the Yakpo as he just desperately rolls around, trying to keep himself obscured out of line of sight, but it's not going to be good enough. They cannot make it to B. They cannot make it a close series. Shanghai Dragons, they will take this as well as their top 4 spot in the region on the back of a 3-0.
And it's hard to bet against the Shanghai Dragons. I mean, even when they look like they may be stumbling, even when it looks like maybe Shanghai Dragons are not up to the reputation that the Shanghai Dragons kind of set for themselves last year, you're still just can't really bet against them, not at least at this stage. Maybe a little bit further on when Shanghai will be matched up against Philadelphia Fusion. That's going to be a great game. But NYXL, unfortunately, they can't get across the line. There was a capability. There was the possibility of them maybe doing it. I think they would have needed maybe a 3-0. Yeah, 3-0 would have had them above 3-1. I think would have not been good enough. So they would have needed a 3-0. By my calculations, I think New York would have needed a 3-0 to actually make it into the top 4 here. So it was a very kind of specific margin for the NYXL. And they needed to play like a perfect game. And unfortunately, it was definitely not a perfect game from NYXL today. It was a much better game coming through from the Shanghai Dragons. So well done to the Shanghai Dragons. And well done for making the top 4.
Yeah, I mean, they get themselves locked in there. I mean, like we said, still a lot later on than we would have anticipated. A lot of people would have expected Shanghai to be the first or at least the second team to get locked into that top 4. So qualifying as the last team still does show that there's a little bit of rockiness to them overall, but they look much better here today compared to what we saw yesterday. Granted, that was also Hangzhou playing out of their minds. But this was a lot more stock standard from them, barring that first round of so a lot more stability. We got to see DM come back in, still performed quite well on the Ashe. So, it's been proven. You don't need no lip, no win is nonsense, as it turns out. But for NYXL, I mean, they're still in this building phase. It's still the infancy of this new roster, so we have to just kind of keep our eyes on them and see how they're going to continue to develop. We've seen glimmers of hope from them throughout this series here, individual performances. Especially from the likes of Flora with his Ashe, he was doing a fantastic job. So there is still yet hope for them. It's just about finding that stride and that cohesion that will, certainly come with time.
And maybe part of me thinks, could NYXL, if we went to like a more brawl-favored map, can NYXL's brawl been good against Shanghai? But even then, you look at Shanghai's brawl yesterday versus Hangzhou, where, as you said, Hangzhou were playing out of their minds, and it wasn't still wasn't quite enough, especially when they moved away from the double bubble. Just more question marks for NYXL, because I'd like to imagine that there's a matchup there that they can kind of win. To me today, though, especially when I confirm it with stats, it does just seem like NYXL got kind of team diffed here. Feather wasn't up to scratch via Fledit, which is probably not that surprising. When DM came in versus Flora, I think Flora had a great game when Lip was in, but when DM starts coming in, then DM is finding a decent amount of the frags there compared to what Flora was finding. And then obviously the Easyaki versus Jonak stats, where Easyaki was miles ahead of Jonak, especially on that last map of Blizzard World.
Yeah, it was just a solid stuff, overall from them. So he might not have played in the last map, but our player of the match is in fact going to be Lip. So it was a wonderful performance from him. I mean, we got to see him crack out the Widowmaker on a few different occasions, and overall, it's just everything that you would come to expect from him, just based on last year and the start of this. Lip is still very much a force to be reckoned with for Shanghai.
I think it's important for people to remember as well that Lip isn't just the Sombra guy, because he's kind of built up their brand like, yeah, I'm like a Sombra player now. But as we head towards all the different metas that Shanghai are playing through, Lip is going to be able to play McCree, he's going to be able to play the Widow, the Ashe, and here to remind NYXL and the rest of the people watching at home as well, where Lip is a real threat. He's a legitimate damage threat. You're seeing on Ilios, on Temple of Anubis, a lot of these very impactful kills. Lip really allows Shanghai Dragons to get those massive advantages, and that's on top of the rest of his team performing well as well.
Yeah, I mean, when you have everybody firing on all cylinders, I mean, Fleta as well just had such a phenomenal series, but this is just such a scary DPS duo, and seeing DM come in for Blizzard World just shows that there's still a good amount of depth here that both Lip and DM can perform at similar levels. I personally still think that they look a bit more cohesive, and I think the communication might be overall improved when Lip is on the roster. It seems like there's a bit more follow-up to each other's damage, but it's good to see DM get some playtime as well and still find success, because he is an extremely talented player in his own right. So I don't want him to be left out in the shadows. But for today in the limelight, it will be Lip yet again. No headshot kills coming in with the Ashe, so that's a little bit of an awkward one to see. But
body
he's
shot
getting
only.
the final blows.
The body
through.
shot
He's getting
king.
his eliminations. Yeah, but I mean, if we looked at his Widowmaker stats, it would be a little bit different, because he did have several of these headshots coming through as well with that pick. So
I think his Widowmaker definitely got a lot more Widowmaker headshots. So we even saw in the replays there. I mean, we confirmed the headshots were indeed found. But as far as the Ash goes, and most of the Ash was played on Ilios, where you're body shotting, Yukpong. Those coach gun kills were hilarious, by the way. I'm glad we got those in the replays, because I think you and I were both just scratching our heads like, how is Yukpong dying to these again? Like, it's so, just seeing Lip's impact on Ilios, pretty good stuff. Watermaker's there, and again, he's not just that like Sombra one trick that some people might think.
Yeah, I'm still curious as to how Lee Jae-gon died there on Blizzard World, but enough about that. Unfortunately, we didn't get to see it, but maybe somebody will reveal the secrets for us in the future here. But let's go ahead and jump straight into our game break presented by Cheez It Grooves, as well as our crunch time. And I believe that there was a particular part of Temple of Anubis that you wanted to go over, Avril.
Yeah, a couple of places here. We can take a look at the firstborn camp. So obviously, Yukpong will die, and Shanghai Dragons start to get quite aggressive here. There's a couple of players caught in the side room, which I did question, like, what are Ivy and Friday? I think it's more importantly Friday. I think he was just trying to play out of sight. But Shanghai Dragons, they have a lot of confidence here. You're going to see it over towards B as well. But this spawn camp does eventually get punished. You'll see all these frags come in, and then eventually Lip dies. And here's part of the difficulty is if you start losing members that are untraded, then your defense is going to start falling apart, because Fate has to dive in here. You see the res coming through on towards Lip, but the glitter gets punished, and the domino stack, this house of cards being built up on this very aggressive hold, starts to really fall apart quickly. So NY Excel find themselves in A camp off the back of, I think, Shanghai overstepping.
Yeah, a minor little one. Like you said, domino effect is a really good way to put it. Just, you lose one, they go in, they get the res, they lose another, and then just given that spawn advantage, playing that so far close, you're always going to be outnumbered. It's such a far run back at that point. So unless you play it absolutely pristinely, which they were initially, it can get punished, and it did end up allowing for NYXL to finally get some footing and be able to take that point A. But I mean, we did see a similar thing happen over on the point B defense. They're playing far forward. And just forcing NYXL to use their ultimates away from the point, so that by the time they finally got over there, they had really limited tools to work with. And then it was Shanghai who actually did have that spawn advantage, could quickly get back in. I mean, you saw they were able to turn around a fight that looked like NYXL were going to be able to win. It seemed like they should have been able to get that cap happening in OT, but Shanghai, they played that second half of the map to a T. It was beautifully done, and that set them up with match point, and then they close it out on Blizzard World. So it was really solid stuff. But with that series in the bag, we do have our bracket established with our top 4 here for the May Melee. So taking a look at it. This is starting, reminder, tomorrow. We're going straight into these matches. There's not going to be any kind of extended break. These teams have 24 hours to prepare. Starting things off, it is going to be the Shanghai Dragons going up against the Philadelphia Fusion. And then we get the Chengdu Hunters versus Seoul Dynasty.
What I can tell you here, Seth, and this is my expert analysis, is orange team's good, and then obviously some other hot colors like red coming through as well. So it's about the color schemes today, is how you decipher where the good APAC teams are. I know APAC's a little bit tricky right now. It's a very topsy-turvy kind of region, hard to predict, but just always bet on the orange team, which means did Philly just win? Did Chengdu just win here? What's crazy to me is between Fusion and Dragons, one of these two teams don't make it to May Melee. How crazy is that?
It's going to be pretty wild. I mean, both of those series absolutely stacked. I mean, Shanghai looking improved, but Fusion just being so dominant in the region so far when, a lot of people had some lopsided expectations of them, having to pick up the likes of Toby and Hoppa coming in, but they've slotted in so very well. This does feel like this is going to be a Fusion favored matchup. Shanghai, though, showing those improvements, is it going to be enough for them to make it competitive? Is it going to be enough for them to be able to best them and eliminate them is the big question. And then I think for the second series, Chengdu versus Seoul, I think that one could get absolutely down and dirty. I don't know about you, but I think that one might go off the rails a little bit.
Both of them. I expect both matches to be absolutely fantastic. And, only 2 teams obviously get to represent the Eastern region at the May Melee, and only 2 from NA as well. And it all gets decided this weekend. So hang tight, buckle up.
Yeah, make sure you guys set your alarms because you do not want to miss those matches. They're going to be absolutely insane. They're going to be enthralling, and they're going to be coming at you the same plays at the same time. So make sure you guys tune in. Check your reminders on YouTube and all that good stuff so that you do not miss any of the action. You don't have to catch those encore streams and whatnot unless you got job or family to take care of, and in which case, whatever. Catch the encore one. But you want to be there live. You want to be there when it's actually happening. So make sure you are. We'll be there. Doe NZP will be there, so make sure you tune in. That's it for us here tonight. Thank you guys for tuning in, and we'll see you back here tomorrow.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by Cheez It Grooves. So much flavor, it's a mind crunch.